Yeah, so about the Knicks, Cheech, I'm surprised you're not at the parade, man. I thought you're a diehard Knicks fan.
I don't know. I had to work. Clyde,
Come on.
Walt Frazier's not playing.
Well, tell me, how
No,
old school Knicks fan are you?
Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, like what Joe was saying. I do remember the Knicks winning in 1973. I don't, um, I don't remember the game, but I remember my dad gave me a basketball that said NBA World Champions 1973 New York Knicks. And I played with that basketball like crazy. I wish I had it. It'd probably be worth so much money right now.
Yeah, you could probably sell on eBay.
I do remember like my dad and stuff screaming at the TV, but we had just moved to this house where, I'm back at my family home. My sister wasn't even born. She was born June 26th. So it's kind of weird. It happened like exactly around this time. But I remember like running around the house, but I don't remember the game or the players and stuff. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for the Knicks, man.
And I
But
see Joe's a Knicks fan.
Joe's
Oh
ecstatic.
yeah,
And Joe has
go New
Joe has
York, go New York, go.
Joe has history with this team. You want to talk about your history with the players?
Well, just I'm so happy for Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. All three players went to the University of Villanova University in PA, and they were teammates together, and they won national championships together. Actually,
Yeah,
Josh
did
Hart
you
is the older one.
did you see them play
I
live?
did,
Oh
yeah.
wow. All three of them? All three of them? And that's Glenn right now, my basketball aficionado.
Yeah, my daughter Katie graduated from Villanova in 2017, but she would go back up for the games, and we would go.
Oh wow.
And
Cool.
Josh
Yeah.
Hart actually is the oldest player. He was on the first championship in 2016. Then he went on to the pros. But Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges, and also people remember Dante DiVincenzo uh, and Ryan Arcidiacono. They
They went
also
pro.
are players who also played for the Knicks, but Dante got traded away, and
Right.
Ryan, I believe, is no longer in the
Now,
NBA.
Brunson came up in 18, right? 2018 professionally.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he's been a player for a while. He played for the Dallas Mavericks
Yeah.
in the NBA for a number of years, and then
Well, he is meant to be a Knick because I was watching videos like he was on the Madison Square Garden court as a little boy because his dad played from what 1996.
well, I know his dad was on the 1999 roster that went to the finals but lost to the Houston Rockets, and
Yeah.
he saw very little, if any, playing time. He was on the bench.
Did he? He didn't play much. Uh,
No, no.
okay, but I know he became a coach. I think in what 2003, and then Brunson was a little kid running around the garden. So that guy's like that's his like destiny to be friggin' the greatest Nick of all time. But the question is like, is he? So, going back to the question of who is the greatest Nick of all time, and we talked about stat wise, you got to go with Clyde Frazier, Walt Frazier, right? Uh, as the greatest Nick of all time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves him. He's still associated with the team and does the radio broadcast and has for decades. He's just been a fixture, and he was a great player. Um, but the thing is, what we're forgetting, I think it's because of the two championships he's considered, or should be considered the greatest Nick. But
Yeah.
the greatest pure talent who spent, I think, 14 years with the Knicks was Patrick Ewing.
Oh, yeah, Ewing, I think you said Willis Reed, he's up there. I would say for me, before Brunson, he's Brunson if he stays with the Knicks and they continue, he's gonna be the great, and if he plays like he did in that game, in that last game, he's gonna be the greatest Nick. Um, Patrick Ewing, I mean Clyde Frazier, Patrick Ewing, and then I would say Bernard King, because for me, Bernard King scored 50 points in one game, and then 50 points the next night. No Nick has ever done that. So I wonder, does that make him even higher on the list? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that's a lot of points. Brunson, what did he score? 46 in the last game, which is like
I think he
crazy.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
he might have had that many. Um, I'm just so excited for the guys because, as you know, in professional sports, teams don't stay together very long.
Yeah. I
You
think
know,
I think this team will. I think, this is a special team. I think they're gonna grow as a team. And it's so funny because last year, like I remember there was a kid who worked there who worked, and you remember him. We could say his name, Manny, Tyrese. He
Hmm.
was a Nick freak,
I wonder.
and he got
Wait, is he? Do you think he would watch our show or watch
no,
this our
no.
show? No, all right. I,
He
I
he
remember
he
though.
was
He's probably going crazy right now.
he's going nuts. But last year he got shit on by everybody because the Knicks didn't even make it, and they
Oh,
were like not good. And now, the Knicks are the greatest thing in the world,
wow.
for New York. It's huge.
That is some irony.
Yeah. Um, I
so
got
anyway,
to,
I mean, we're
yeah,
talking about the Knicks because they had the big parade
yeah,
in the Canyon of Heroes down in Manhattan, and it seemed like everybody was having a really good time. I hope everybody behaved themselves. I think the players behaved themselves very well. I thought they said all the right things and they were having a
yeah.
good time, and I don't think they said anything truly stupid.
Hmm.
You know what I like about those guys is, they're family man. They got their kids. They're classy guys. I respect them, especially Brunson. I mean, what he did with that salary, he was going to get a raise, and he gave it to fund like basketball leagues,
Hmm.
the country. And I think you don't see people do that. He's a pretty special guy, you
Well, yeah,
know.
he took less money to stay with the Knicks so they could sign someone like a Carl Anthony Towns, a cat.
Right, like who does that? Most of
Yeah,
these guys are about the money. So
yeah, yeah. Well, there's the only other guy I can think of who did something similar recently in the recent decade was Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. He
yeah,
took less money
yeah,
so they could sign, get some great offensive linemen to block for him.
yeah, he was special too. That there's a special breed. Brett Favre, you know, I liked him a lot. He stayed with one team for all those years. Well, in the end, it was bad for him, but
Yeah,
uh, yeah, but I like Brunson. I think he's a class act and probably the greatest basketball player right now
yeah.
in the world.
I know the player that Glenn told me about when I was still working at the Temple was OG Anunoby, who I really didn't know. He's number 8, and of course,
Yeah,
he was the hero of Game 4 with the magical tip in. And
that
yeah,
guy.
fantastic player, absolutely incredible.
Was he like 7'4"? That guy?
Well, on the other team,
Yeah.
Wemby
Oh,
was seven.
Wemby. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's huge.
OG's tall. I think OG might be 6'8".
Oh, okay, I'm thinking of
You
Wemby. Yeah.
know, the Knicks really, it's amazing what they did because Alvarado and Brunson and I think Josh Hart might be 6'4". But they're considered small by basketball standards.
I
And
think
Josh
Brunt.
Hart is a great rebounder,
Yeah,
especially on the defensive end. It's like, how does he always get the ball? It's like he just knows where to be and he wants it.
yeah. But there's certain guys that were just great at rebounds. That was like
Yeah,
their thing. Um, but yeah, man. So yeah, just talking basketball before we get into rock and roll.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
Brunt,
Just going to rock and roll. I was thinking about the Garden today and wondering how many times Led Zeppelin played at Madison Square Garden, which is, of course, the home of the New York Knicks. And I think the answer was 11, only 11 times.
wow. And I would have thought much, more.
Same.
Crazy.
Yeah, and in 1977, they played 6 concerts. It was almost a residency
Wow.
at the
It's
Garden.
Who
just
holds
like
the record? Billy Joel, right? He holds a record
Oh,
at the
yes.
Garden.
he holds
Yeah.
the record. He has a residency right now.
He had
Well,
it for
Billy
I don't know if he
Joel's,
years.
retired already, but he had a residency.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
had some health issues. I think he's retired from performing.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was
And we
incredible.
can't forget legendary concerts by um John Lennon and George Harrison.
Of
Charity
course.
Yeah.
concert at MSG. That's a legend. I forgot MSG. I'm okay. I mean, my lack of expertise on all things Nick is going to come up. I forgot that MSG is their court.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I always associate with music.
But I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
Zeppelin would play MSG, then they'd go to the Coliseum,
Right, right,
then they would go to what's the other one? Joe, I forgot.
right.
Brendan Byrne Arena in New Jersey.
Yeah, they would probably do a couple nights there, New
I
York,
don't know when
Long
that
Island.
I don't know when that arena opened up. I should look into that. I don't
Yeah.
know if Zeppelin ever really played there.
Oh, interesting. Oh, and it was funny because man, you'll get a kick out of this. I was Joe, you were asking me about Wu-Tang in a
Who?
Yeah,
text, the Wu-Tang Clan, because they pumped up the crowd at the Nick game.
yeah, they played the halftime concert
Who?
at Game Four, and that was the game where the Knicks were losing by 29 points. And actually, at the start of the fourth quarter, they were still down by 20 points, and they had the rally that ended with Anunoby with the famous tip in, heard
Yeah,
around the world. And the Wu Tang Clan, is being credited with pumping up the crowd, getting them back into the game, and helping spur a turnaround. So maybe we'll see them
yeah,
playing at the Garden in the near future or next season.
yeah. It's like they made a comeback. I was just telling Joe. I was giving Joe the history of the Wu-Tang
Well,
Clan.
they
Like,
have in the hip hop genre, their Enter the 36 Chambers is one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, I'll be
yeah,
honest with you, few hip hop acts, they never, I mean, I know I'm gonna get hate on this one, but they have not surpassed their original classic. Like it is
no, yeah,
the Wu-Tang Clan and genius mesh of kung fu culture, hip hop culture, and dirty sampling. Like the sound is grimy. It's
yeah.
I
And they brought Staten Island on the map.
and one of the what good can come out of Staten Island, right?
Yeah, there was nothing out of Staten Island besides the mafia.
Yeah, what,
rappers.
yo, Goodfellas. I know. What's that series called on HBO?
Sopranos. That was
Sopranos.
that was
But that's
Jersey,
Long
but
Island, right? Oh,
Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, it's Jersey. But Staten Island, not a lot of rappers came from. And then they made classic movies like How High. Method Man and Redman, and they collabed with Limp Bizkit. Which was like interesting. At the time. So yeah, give it up for Wu Tang. I was always a fan of those guys. Very unique rap group who made the
So are
Nick
we ready
win.
to start on The Firm?
Yes, we're going
A
from the
little
Wu.
Jimmy Page, a little Paul Rogers, a little Chris Slade, and
Yeah.
our new
So
favorite bassist, Tony Franklin.
I'm gonna go from Wu Tang to the
okay, we're
front.
gonna go from Nick's Wu-Tang to the Firm, and for our
We're
viewers out
already we're
there.
already looking at six
For,
hours. I love it.
I know for our viewers out there, this is the Cheech and Manny show featuring Mr. Joe Silkman. We're going to continue our, I guess, like post Zeppelin episodes. We're gonna take a look at we officially reviewed all the Led Zeppelin albums.
Yeah.
Go check those episodes out. They're on our channel, or you can type in Led Zeppelin, Cheech and Manny. And now we have officially starting, I guess, Joe Harper, our 5 hour episode on Joe Harper
Roy
inaugurated.
Harper.
What did I say?
Joe Harper.
Joe
Roy,
Harper. Roy Harper.
hats off to Roy Harper.
Hats off
Hats
to
off
Roy
to Joe.
Harper.
Joe
Hats off to
Harper.
Joy Harper. But
Just had his 85th birthday on June 12th.
happy birthday, Roy Harper. I hope he
Yeah,
watches this episode and like our Roy Harper episodes.
I loved it. I'm only 30 minutes. I know Joe finished it. I'm 30 minutes in, and I'm loving it. But there's so many. You released a lot, which is awesome. So I'm going.
I mean, listen,
I'm like
Cheech and Manny Show
hopping.
marathon for the summer.
Exactly.
Yo, they say
Um,
hot girl summer. Nah, Cheech and Manny summer.
Cheech and Manny summer, definitely.
But we're gonna
Oh,
continue.
always a shout out to my boy. Sorry, David Lynch. You rule. He left a nice comment on ZZ Top.
Nice,
So
nice. Yeah, keep commenting, David Lynch. Love you. And so we're gonna continue with now Paige and taking a look at his outfit, the firm.
Yep.
kind of touched in this really interesting album that came out like mid 80s, right? Sort of
1985. Yeah.
1985, so right in the peak, I would argue, a comeback for many old artists. So,
Yeah.
like a comeback here.
Well,
So,
I got a list of albums. But first I always like to ask everyone like Joe, where were you in 1985?
I was living in Manhattan. Wow,
Oh wow.
that brings it back. Yeah,
Nice.
going to a lot of concerts back then.
Wow.
Actually,
Right.
I got distracted when you mentioned 1985 because there was a famous song called 1985 that name checks a lot of artists that were famous, like Madonna and U2 in 1985.
Oh
And I
yeah.
forget
Yeah.
the band. I was trying to think of the band that did that song.
wait, is that the
1985.
2000 song?
I
Really
don't
good
know.
question. If what year would a song named 1985 come out?
There was a song, I remember I was in sixth grade by a band called Bowling for Soup, I think.
Oh
She
yeah, I
19,
remember them.
19,
Holy,
1985, Madonna. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a
That's
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So got a
Wow.
little
I
bit of
forgot.
nostalgia back there. And at me in sixth grade, 1985. I'm like, what's 1985? What was he
What is
talking about?
that?
Bowling for Soup,
Yeah.
1985.
Yeah. And it's funny, Madonna, she had to come back when I was in sixth grade with she had a song Hung Up, I think. Um she had like a comeback and she was popular. Like people were listening to her. She was on my playlist because she on MTV.
Madonna had a long career.
Oh, very
I
long.
remember seeing Madonna. Like, okay, I grew up with Madonna like on MTV, so like 80, 83, 84, like a Virgin and all that stuff came out. And I was like, in love with her. She was so hot. And then my first wife, Zoe's mom, was a freak for Madonna, and we went to every concert. So we went and saw the Ray of Light tour. I had to be
That's 90s. That's like that was another
late
comeback. That was like another.
midnight.
It's funny, Madonna
Yeah.
had so many comebacks, which is
She
kind of funny.
reinvented herself on
She
that. It
she
was
did. And
amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like when I was in sixth grade, I saw Madonna. I forgot the song, but she sampled an ABBA song. I think it's called Hung Up on You.
Yeah.
Video is very interesting. I mean, you said she's hot. You're gonna like the video. I mean, I didn't, but
Oh,
not at that point, sixth grade. When I was in sixth grade, that was 2000. I mean, she was already, I would think in her 40s at that point.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I
So,
seen her when she was in her like late 20, like I was 14, so she had to be at least
right.
10 years
And
older
actually,
than me.
speaking of 1985, she represented one of the new wave of artists that were, um, you know,
Well,
dominating the
she had
80s.
her own label.
Cyndi Lauper. You had these new trendsetters.
Oh yeah, but Madonna came out with a label called Maverick in the 90s, and I think she signed a rock band. I could be wrong. It could be Candlebox, but the biggest artist she signed was Alanis Morissette. I'm pretty sure Alanis Morissette was on Maverick. So she had her own label. Ray of Light, I gotta say, when I saw that, I was blown away by just her talent, her raw talent and dancing and everything. She knew how to put on a show. But anyway, in 1985, I was 15 and I was in a basement in this house with my band Seance trying to learn a bunch of Firm songs. So, so that's what I was doing at 15 years old. But I have a list of albums that came out in 1985. The first one, and Manny, you said like bands that came back and reinvented themselves. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms.
Mm.
Um, your favorite band, Tears for Fears. Songs from the Bis Chair.
Songs from the Big Chair.
Oh, the Big
Classic,
Chair.
one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Heart, Heart. And we have different opinions about Heart in the 80s, me and Manny. I kind of like them. I know
I
I know
think
they
it's cheesy.
I know they sold out, but I've always been a Heart
I'm
fan.
also not a fan of like 80s Cheap Trick too. I thought they were lame. Like
Yeah, I kind of like the Flame.
it's
I
still
don't know.
dated though, in my opinion. It's not as timeless as Surrender or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Live at Budokan live album.
Well, Dream Police, I think, is the 80s.
I like that, but production wise, it sounds dated to me. Like it wouldn't for me. It just sounds a little tired for me.
Right. Um, your boy Manny Phil Collins, no jacket required.
Your favorite song's the studio.
Studio. Lee
Yeah.
Sklar in the video. Uh,
Phil Collins dominated. Talk about like him like reinventing himself on Prague.
oh, he dominated the 80s. He was,
And I think he had a
um,
Genesis record out. I think it was either Abacab or this Genesis self-titled. The
that would
one
have been
that
early,
the one that
early
had
80s.
it's no fun being
Oh,
an illegal
that's a great album.
alien. Talk
I
about a
got a
relevant topic
name
today, huh? That
right now,
that is
yeah.
relevant today. Like that should be a comeback.
Right.
Okay.
He had a great song. I got a name and I got a number. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Off
Oh,
that
but
album.
oh yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Phil Collins dominated. This
He dominated.
guy that looks like he works for corporate.
I know. When he come in and be like, charcuterie's not looking so good.
Yo,
Although
he looks like a temple priest.
there's been sightings of him in the temple.
Oh, okay.
A few people had said he lived in Greenwich or did something in Greenwich. And
I
I
believe
remember one time a dude said to me, yeah, Phil Collins was in here yesterday. I'm talking like 20 years ago. Um, Motley Crue Theater of Pain, and I actually saw that tour. Was lucky enough to see
talk about
that.
like the new wave of like bands, the representing
Yeah,
new metal and rock.
Motley Crue at Madison Square Garden. I
Glamour,
seen that.
I always call them like yeah, glam Van Halen, essentially taking what
Yeah,
Van Halen started and New
yeah.
York Dolls and really talk about like the new face of like metal and rock.
Digging it like to the next level.
Yeah.
ZZ Top, Afterburner. Shout out to David Lynch. Some band from Canada who's got a new drummer. Power Windows. Some band from the
I,
East End of
oh, wait, go back to that whatever that band you just mentioned.
was it
Power.
Frank Marino? Oh no,
I,
Triumph. Is
I,
it Triumph?
I don't even
April
know, man.
Wine
Is
FM?
listen, is it
Who's the
Visions?
band?
Is it Visions? I
Maybe
mean,
it's Visions, 1980. Well, we were 10 years later. Although shout out to Visions, I forgot to do it. Always a shout out to Potter's Field, greatest band in the world, Bobby, Vinny, and Robbie. Um, Visions, my old band from '92. We have everything is available out on Spotify.
do you have a
Uh,
link for the Spotify or Apple Music? 'Cause I was trying to find you guys. I couldn't find you.
it it's out there on whatever streaming services.
Do you have a
It's all
link?
out there.
I couldn't find it, so I can link it below.
I'll have Jimmy send it to
Send me the
you.
link.
I'll
Send
figure it
me
out. The singer.
so I can link it below. I was trying to find it
Yeah,
on iTunes, Apple Music.
yeah. It's definitely on there. It's on YouTube. It's being played in Japan. So I told you a crazy story
Right.
about
You
that.
guys are
Maybe
like
that
the
was
Cheap Trick. You probably have a big following in Japan.
probably. I wouldn't be surprised with that band. But it was Rush, Power Windows, a small, this tiny band from the East End of London. They came out with Live After Death, Iron Maiden, The Smiths, uh, Meat is Martin,
Meat is
something like that.
Murder, classic,
Murder. I'm losing. What's wrong with me? I
classic.
can't.
Yeah.
And
I
Mrs.
talk about
Silkman.
another example of like the face of rock, the Smiths,
Yeah,
alternative.
yeah. And I think Mrs. Silkman's one of her favorite bands, Bon Jovi, right, Joe? That your
Oh
Bon
wife's
yeah.
Jovi. Another example, new face of rock dominating.
was it the 7-800 Fahrenheit? Yeah, a new face of
And I
rock,
don't
right?
think that's not even their big one yet. Slippery when wet.
Well, they had Runaway came out a year
Before
before
that,
that.
on their tail, yeah,
Blew
that was
up.
a
Yeah,
massive hit. Yeah, yeah.
great song,
New
great band.
Jersey.
Super group. Talking about super groups, this was a super group. Power Station, Power Station. And you had Robert Palmer singing. You had Tony Thompson from Chic, and you had Andy Taylor on bass. And who's the guitar player, Joe, in the Power Station? Was it another guy from Duran Duran?
I don't know. I
I'm
don't
trying to
know.
remember.
I mean,
They
Tony
were,
Thompson was the guy that appeared with Led Zeppelin for the
yeah,
Live Aid appearance.
Hmm.
yep. And another guy reinventing himself, John Fogerty, center field.
Yeah.
Sting, the famous The Dream of the Blue Turtle. And this weird, strange, odd man from England named Roy Harper. Whatever happened to Jugular? We don't even need to go
Now we
there
got
at all.
our viewers out there. We have a 5-hour episode on that album. Go watch
Yeah.
that.
Just, we just mentioned his name.
Go watch the
Yeah.
I tell you, you
5-hour
said
episode.
really, really nice things about Frozen Moment. That was really well done. That you really thought it was a beautiful, beautiful song.
Oh, yeah. For me, that's my favorite song. That might be my favorite song of all time by Roy Harper.
Okay.
I mean, because it is this poet. It's bottom line, he's a poet. He's John Keats first.
He's an artist. True
He's an
artist.
he's a true artist.
Yeah. It's a
And that's
shame
what
it
I love
wasn't
about.
more popular. Like it's
Yeah.
interesting. That could be its own worthwhile discussion. Like why wasn't he bigger? Like why and I've been listening to the more I listen to Jugular, actually I'm surprised it wasn't at least like a top 20 hit.
Well, I think Jugular production wise is leading up to where we are now.
Yeah.
The firm. It's very Jugular was a
Very
good
80s album.
production,
Very
a
80s.
good production, but the firm kind of perfected that 80s production.
Mhm.
What he lacked in production, the firm got. If
Mhm.
you like that 80s sound, which I don't mind. I don't mind. We'll talk about the
A
production.
lot of I hear a lot of and actually speaking of the firm,
Yeah.
as with Jugular, I hear a lot of reverb gated drumming. Like the drumming sounds a little like very 80s.
A lot of reverb on the drums.
Yes, the
Yeah, a
sound
lot of
sounds
reverb
the sound
on the
has that
vocal.
80s compression. Like I can hear it.
Yeah,
Like it's kind of funny.
yeah.
But Jugular is a great album. It is good. I think thanks
I
to
think
Joe, we discovered it.
Jojo is overcompressed way
Yes,
too
yes.
much. You
Well,
know,
it makes sense. Like I think um the full technological even it happened to Rush too. It happened to Rush's
yeah.
like power windows. I mean we have another great episode, I think like 3 hours on power windows.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
we talk
Broke
about
that down.
the sound and I know a lot of fans were turned off by it. But that was the 80s. A lot of
Mike Portnoy.
and by the way, gated drumming was
Yeah,
invented by Phil Collins in collaboration with Peter Gabriel. They invented that drum sound.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you hear it all over you hear it here. I hear it in that. And the
And
guitar
that's
effects too, very 80s effects as
yeah.
well. Like
And we talked
very
about why Mike Portnoy got away from Rush or from this album. He said it was oversynthesized.
I wonder if that was it, where they were probably rewatching that documentary, and Glee's like, "Oh yeah, we're definitely not going with him. He insulted my
Yeah.
favorite
He's
Rush.
so
He
yeah.
insulted my
Because
favorite
Getty
Rush.
loves those albums. I mean,
He does.
Alex might not love them as much, but I know Getty loves them, and I know Neil loved them too. Um, so let's talk about the firm. First thing I have, is the production. We'll talk a little bit
But,
about that.
but before you, where are you going first with your first points?
I'm gonna give you just the background.
Before
How
before
it's a-
before you do that, question for both of you, and Cheech, you'll start it off.
yeah.
Why the firm? Why should someone listen to this album? Like, what is the big deal with it?
Oh, because oh God, want to go sours on this? Well, I mean, for me,
What? Because I'll be honest with you, if we took a poll,
yeah.
I don't think nobody remembers this album.
Well, that's because if you were alive in 1985 and you heard the words Jimmy Page is back and you were crazy ass metalhead, Zeppelin head, you, you just went nuts. Now, we didn't know about Jugular. There's Glenn. We didn't know about Jugular because it was so underground. And MTV didn't play it. It wasn't in the metal magazine. So why the firm is so important in 1985 is it was Jimmy Page's comeback album. I know he did the Honey Drippers and I know he did Death Wish too, but it was not really Jimmy Page.
Hmm.
This was when we saw Radioactive, and when I say we, I mean Seance, my boys, my band at the time. When we saw it, we were like, "Oh my God, look at Jimmy Page, he's back." So it was a big deal. It was amazing. Um, and then when you got the album, it had Paul Rogers. So you're a Bad Company fan. If you're a Zeppelin fan, you're obviously a Bad Company fan. So it has two of the great legends on there, a super group, which we didn't know what that meant. And we just fell in love with the album and we loved the songs. So, and it to me, it still holds its own to this day. When I first saw Radioactive on MTV. And what do you think my first impression of Radioactive was? When my mouth dropped.
Well,
What
it
do you
has
think?
gadgetry on it. I mean, the guitar is
Nope. Nope.
never heard anything like that.
There was something that made my mouth drop completely.
Bass,
The
fretless
bass playing?
bass.
Yes. Tony Franklin does a slide harmonic on a fretless bass, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Who's this bass player?" And I automatically researched him. Asked my bass teachers; they knew who he was. From Roy Harper. So for me, when I think of the firm, I think Tony Franklin. That was a radioactive. Um, was my first, blown away thing. Uh, so does that answer your question? Good or
Yeah, yeah. Joe, why the firm? What's the big deal with this album?
It was Jimmy Page's return to the concert stage. So it wasn't just an album, it was also followed up by a tour.
right, right? I forgot
Tour was
that.
very successful. They played the arenas. It was classic arena rock. And yeah, it was Jimmy's real return to the music scene. And teaming up with Paul Rogers was a stroke of genius. I think Paul Rogers should get a lot of credit for helping Jimmy come back.
Yep.
And what's amazing, you say supergroup, but I mean, Tony Franklin was 23 years old
Yeah.
at that time, and Jimmy would have been 41.
Yeah.
Paul Rogers, probably around the same age.
And it's
And
crazy. Well, and then Chris Slade, who was already established, in Uriah Heep as a drummer, and Tony
yeah,
Franklin was well known he had a 23-year-old kid. He was a well-known bass player. I think he played with Kate Bush in Gilmore, I believe.
at a live appearance. Yeah, yeah.
So he was,
And that's where Chris Slade. Chris Slade was the touring drummer for a David Gilmour solo tour.
wow.
So it's amazing how these guys all have like these circles. They all kind of connect. It's like a
Yeah.
community, you
Yeah.
know.
From Roy Harper to Gilmore. So you guys want me to jump right into it?
Right in, give the
So
context.
the first studio album, the supergroup, um, is Paul Rogers of Free, as we just said. Paul Rogers of Free and Bad Company, Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, the Yardbirds, Session Man, Tony Franklin. We just said who he was with. David Gilmour, Kate Bush, Roy Harper, Chris Slade. He was also in Manfred Mann's Earth Band, and Uriah Heep. And later he became super famous on Thunderstruck with AC/DC. He
Yeah.
joined AC/DC for a short period of time. So he had a great career. He's a powerful drummer, but he's a pocket drummer. He doesn't overplay, but he keeps it in the groove. I love Chris Slade's feel.
I think that's what
Um,
made him such a great fit for AC/DC.
Hmm.
yeah, I mean he wasn't as simple as Phil Rudd, um, or Simon Wright, but he's a little more technical. But I was surprised when he was in AC/DC. I was like, is this gonna work? But it did. Thunderstruck is they probably played it at the Knicks game the other night, It's an anthem. Um, so it came out in February 1985 on Atlantic Records, produced by Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers. The singles were Radioactive, Closer, Satisfaction Guaranteed, my favorite song. Number 17 on Billboard, reached 200. It reached 15 in UK. Page and Rogers talked about doing a new band at the Arms Charity Tour. So now, we talked about that show a lot. That was for Ronnie Lane. And I forgot what disease he had, and they did a charity tour, and Page came out and he played Stairway to Heaven, and that was like his first appearance that he was back. And I was on MTV. I remember watching that, being like, "Oh my God," blown away. And Paul Rogers also played on that. So Paul Rogers knew about loss because he lost his best friend Paul Kossoff in Free, who was a brilliant guitar player, and he wanted to help Jimmy get back on his feet because Jimmy was having some problems with certain things. And they said, let's do a band. And then after Bad Company broke up, Paul Rogers had an album called Cut Loose that did pretty well. So originally, this is funny, they were going to get, and this is trivia, which you guys probably know because I brought this up on a show maybe a while back. Who do you think they wanted on drums and bass? I don't think it would fit these two guys. I mean,
The
one
bass
guy would.
Palladino.
Pino Palladino, he would fit because he's a great fretless player. But
Well,
the drummer wouldn't fit.
Bruford.
Yeah, Bruford.
No, Bruford.
Yeah.
Bill Bruford. I can't imagine him
That's
on.
interesting.
Yeah. Bill Bruford and Pino Palladino. I mean, they were. I mean,
They would have that would have created an interesting. I don't know what would have. Definitely, we would not hear what the firm released. It would have been something.
no, I
Different.
don't. I don't think it would have worked. It would have been it would have been more proggy,
And
you know.
and Bruford was busy with Crimson, I'm assuming, right?
In '84, yeah, he was out doing that, and he had a band called Earthworks where he was doing jazz fusion stuff. Um, but they had contracts, so they couldn't do it, or they were going to do it. Um, so they wanted to distance themselves from the past. No Zeppelin, no Bad Company was to be played. So they wrote new material. Rogers and Jimmy were writing. Jimmy was getting healthy again, which made Rogers really happy because that was kind of his goal. He wanted his friend to be back out there and be healthy. Jimmy owned the studio called Soul Studio in England. They would take their time, write songs, and produce them. It took 2 months to record and write the album. Um, and they, let me see. And they released the album on February 11th, 1985. It did great on the charts. Radioactive hit #1 on Billboard. Satisfaction Guarantee #4. And this is because there was a new invention called MTV, and MTV played the hell out of Radioactive and Satisfaction Guaranteed. I remember seeing that constantly as a kid. You could not. That and Twisted Sister were like, I
Mm.
mean, Twisted Sister was more, but the Firm, when it came out, like for the first 2 months, that's what you saw. And Big Money, of course. So the critics, some fans loved it, others hated it for the lack of heaviness. Um, some critics felt it wasn't. Some critics felt it was too polished and overproduced and too soulful. Um, some critics said, it was too soulful and too commercial, but it did great. And they went on a big, huge tour that Joe happened to see one of the shows that started in 1985 in the US. The sound was rooted in rock, soul, blues. Rod Rogers' soulful voice and Tony Franklin's amazing fretless style work made it very, very different. And we could talk about this a little bit, Manny. Like most bands at the time, they had a certain sound, but the Firm were very different. You want to talk a little bit about that, like about the musical climate in 1985, and then this Firm album comes out, which is a throwback, really.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because from like a musical, I guess I would call it like anthropological perspective, a lot of I mean I'm kind of insulting them, but I heard the phrase somewhere like boomers came
Yeah,
back for some reason. A lot of them, Don Henley too, like they in the 80s they were starting to come back. Like so these were
yeah,
established artists. No, talk about Bad Company, Zeppelin. I mean, to be Led Zeppelin 80s, what I know you guys are Led Zeppelin fans, but from like like an empirical perspective, Led Zeppelin was out in the 80s. Like
Yeah,
that
it
sound
wouldn't
now
work.
punk killed it, and
Yeah,
punk was
yeah,
already because at this point you had bands thanks to our boys at CBGB's. Now there was a new wave of so-called cool
yeah.
rock. And
Talking
so
Heads
to
and
see
yeah,
like grandpas, like at that point, Page was, even though he's only in his 40s, John
yeah,
Burgundy, grandpa,
yeah,
all
yeah,
of these old acts coming back, there was a resurgence. And and it's funny because you mentioned that the critics were hating on the album because, critics being critics because of
yeah.
you said too soulful. And actually they covered the Righteous
Righteous
Brothers.
Brothers. Yeah.
You lost that
That's
love and
side two. Don't go to side two yet, Manny.
right. But it's funny how what an interesting choice to bring to 1985, right? Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
album is strange. That's why for me it's odd. And the sound that they make, it is very unique. And I love how you said that they weren't trying to obviously not replicate Zeppelin.
right. Because they knew that wouldn't. It's not gonna work.
Page knows it's not gonna
Yeah,
work, and obviously from him working on Roy Harper, he probably saw what Roy Harper was doing, and then Page is, I think, a master of this, where he learns something and then uses it twice as better. So
exactly.
he does that.
Great,
Paul
great point.
Paul Rogers, away from bad. This does sound like a mesh of like um Bad Company and some of a little bit of Led Zeppelin. Now, I
Yeah.
personally do not hear Led Zeppelin on the firm.
I
What I
mean,
do
I-
hear is riffs. Like I
yeah,
hear
that's what I was
Page.
gonna say.
It's
You
it's
hear
it's in their
Page.
face. Yeah, the
Yeah,
riffs are
yeah,
front and center. Radioactive riff is very unique in the sound. Very
yeah.
unique song. You
But
mentioned the presence of a fretless bass. I mean,
yeah,
music. I'll be
nobody
honest,
had that.
80s music, like 80s music,
Yeah.
fretless bass sometimes would not work because it's too flowy. It's like 80s music is so compressed and like
Well, what happened in the 80s, Jocko became so popular, and this pissed Jocko off. They took they took Jocko's sound. And I don't mean the firm, I mean everything. Commercials, movies.
right.
You go back to the 80s
Can I mention
and
one
you
song
listen.
that was really popular that took that
Yeah,
fretless bass?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a fretless bass. You Can Call Me Out by Paul Simon.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
And
and
he
slapped on it.
popularized that song. And talk about videos, the video with Chevy Chase. I
Yeah.
love that video.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, that
yeah, but
yeah,
I remember I heard the bass in that song and I knew, why does it sound different? Because if you hear the bass sounds on other records, it's very you would be the expert. It's not that it's compressed, it's that it's like classic 80s sound. Like they're
yeah,
and actually a bass player that got really funky
yeah,
brought funk back. Trivia.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
was that bass player in the 80s? Big band.
Who brought funk back in the
Yeah.
80s?
In
Oh
their
man, you're testing
What's
me.
the
Oh
trivia? No
God.
trivia.
All right, in the 80s. Give me a year.
Let's say they were one of the biggest bands of the 80s from Britain.
Duran Duran.
Their bass player, they brought
Yeah,
that funk sound back, but even then that was so odd because
yeah,
most of the 80s like bass production. But anyway, but to make my point is like the firm, like, it's such just an interesting album. Like it definitely has a unique sound.
yeah.
And sadly, 1985 was the peak of boomer rock. Like it came back.
Well, it's
Um,
funny. John Taylor loved Chic, and he got to
well,
play with Tony Thompson on Power Station.
right.
But the point that the fretless bass became so popular, it was in everywhere you went in the 80s. So when I hear a fretless bass, I always hear Jocko. But it's I remember my bass teacher telling me Jocko was mad that they took his sound. The world took his sound. And he didn't really get credit for it until much later. Guys like Pino Palladino, God, I forget the guy's name. Paul, you know Paul Young, the singer Paul Young. He had a few hits, and Pino Palladino brought that fretless bass
Right.
into rock. So there were some guys doing it, but Franklin brought it out, and destroyed it, and it was like, fuck, man, this is like the Jocko of rock. Tony Franklin was like, he was my god. Well,
Mm.
for rock. Jocko's just god, period. But yeah, but you're right about the old fogies coming out. Not that they were old,
Nah,
but
they
they
came even
well,
like it's odd if you listen to
look, you look at
Centerfield.
Paul Simon.
Well,
I mean, Christ.
well, to speak of Paul Simon, he made a
Yes,
comeback after
right.
being in. Dude, but talk about and I keep forgetting. He included a fretless bass and "You Can Call
Yeah,
Me Out." And what's interesting is that he popularized world music. It's kind of very
yeah.
interesting. What an interesting thing to do in the
That
80s.
was a beautiful thing he did.
Yeah,
And ZZ Top, thank you, David Lynch. Again, like ZZ
ZZ
Top,
Top
they
made a
were a
comeback, and
blues
they
rock.
did. I would argue their album, Eliminator, is
Yeah,
very similar to The Firm, not in sound but in concept. Where
exactly.
they started like you hear Sharp Dressed Men, they have like fuzz in that bass and like they're
Yeah.
taking 80s technology.
But
The
the
drum
one
sound
thing,
gated,
yeah,
gated drum sound.
the one thing that made, I mean, them different than the firm was ZZ Top was a circus. They were an
Yeah.
image.
Well, dude,
They had the
you know what I remember?
beards,
Dude,
beards,
that's
girls in the car. I
that
mean,
is what I remember. I remember that video for Sharp Dressed Man. First of all, I was in sixth grade.
right.
And you hear down 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 now, and I see like they had
Yeah.
that iconic outfit, and I see like
And they did the moves. They
right,
had those
right.
band.
They did the
They
spinny
were
guitar thing. Did you ever see
yeah.
that
Oh
with these?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like
So
it was a circus, and then I see like the girls come out of the car. I'm like, yo, okay, these
well,
guys are the coolest guys
you
ever.
want to be these guys,
Yeah.
And
And
the
it's funny,
thing,
I never saw the firm though. Actually, just speak on like you said it was like I remember MTV, I guess, decided to stop playing their videos. I never saw their videos. Like I never
um, well,
like what
the
happened.
firm was popular only when the album was popular. So let's just say the firm was popular for 6 months, right? Say they came out with the album, Radioactive
Right.
was huge for a couple months, then Satisfaction Guaranteed, the next video, then it just fell off
So what
because they did.
happened? Do you think was it like meteoric and like quick fall? Like what happened?
I think they were more concerned on touring than putting out singles. If they put out ZZ Top was smart. They put singles. They did
Right.
about four singles on an album. You had to do four if you want to be famous. Look at Phil Collins, Lionel Richie, 3 to 4 singles. The Firm did maybe they did I think Closer, but they didn't have a video for it, so they only had 2 videos, and then they just focused on old school touring. They toured for a whole year, so they didn't know how it worked yet in the 80s. They were still learning the ropes. Like, wait, we're gonna tour. But ZZ Top had a better manager maybe and said, no, you guys get a new image, put out 4 singles, get a bunch of hot chicks. That's why everybody remembers ZZ Top way more than the Firm, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And they're both genius bands
Well,
and
they
albums.
are.
You know, both genius guitar players. I don't know about Dusty Hill. He's a great bass player, but Tony Franklin smokes his ass. I'm sorry. God rest his soul.
I never even knew he was a bass player.
I
Like,
love you,
no, I do.
Dusty
No.
Hill. You passed away, but
Yeah,
he was solid. He was rock solid as fuck.
he got the boogie down.
Yeah. All right, so let me move on. Joe, any comments on that?
It was just good to have Jimmy back.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. But like I say, I just can't get over the fact that a singer is so recognizable and associated with a band because of his voice. And Paul Rogers, it sounds like Bad Company.
Yeah.
It sounds like Free. You
Yeah.
know, it's funny, but I feel like Paul Rogers did sound pretty much the same on every album I ever heard him
Yeah.
sing on, whereas Robert Plant sounded different on every album I ever.
Yeah. That's a good
Just
point.
That's a great point. That was my problem with him with Queen because I just heard Bad Company. Like
yeah.
I know.
I hate to
I,
say it, but
I
I'm not
read
a
something
fan of it.
recently on Reddit and about Robert Plant and his voice. That there's a rumor out there or a theory that Robert Plant pushed his voice so hard that it finally cracked in Japan in 1972. They say it was the day after his birthday. Maybe he celebrated too hard on his birthday. And then, that would have been August 21st, like 1972. They were playing in Japan. And they say that there is a bootleg out there recording when you can actually hear the voice crack. And that some theorists claim Robert Plant's voice has never sounded the same since.
I am actually for that argument because without knowing that theory, I noticed a change in this. I know we kind of discussed down the um I think it was the President's episode because of the accident, but even before then, I did notice his voice sounded a little strange. Like I was like, this is not the same one from Zeppelin 2.
I would
Well,
disagree. I would disagree. I
well,
don't hear a change.
I hear
And
it,
like,
dude. I hear it. I
I
hear
mean,
it.
on
I hear it.
Zeppelin 4, I mean, Black Dog, he's
No, but
killing it.
what year did Zeppelin 4 come out?
71.
Oh, so this is
They say
before.
If
Okay,
you
yeah.
pay
his voice
attention,
changed in 72, that he may have damaged his voice.
right.
And he talked on the program, I think it was with Stephen Colbert, that he did have like a cortisone shot or some sort of injection into his neck before a concert in Australia. And it just like made him really sick. And then his voice is very different on the newer songs on Physical Graffiti,
Yep.
like
Yep.
Cashmere,
Yep.
Custard
That
Pie,
Yep.
The
And you,
Rover.
yep. That's, I heard, I love
I
the
like it.
Rover. No, I love, no, it's great,
I
but
like it. It's
it's
gritty. It's
not this,
very raw.
it's
But
Yeah,
then
not
we
the
will
I
same.
see he
see.
had surgery before recording those songs or
Right.
after, and he
Right.
was in recovery.
Right.
But
Interesting.
Like he's
yeah,
That's
his
a
not,
voice is
theory. It's a
very,
theory, though.
it's a theory. I think there is some, for me, auditory wise, auditorily, I heard that difference. I made that point on the Zeppelin episode because I noticed his voice sounds on Presence. It's, in my opinion, you can even hear it more on Presence because obviously because of this, of the accident and stress and surgeries but yeah, I actually, I do, Joe, I actually kind of do believe that theory. And I guess Joe, Cheech and I disagree.
it, I mean,
I
for
mean,
Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin, it made every album sound different. And of course, they grew as a band. And I mean, when Robert Plant started out, he admits he was a screamer, and it's a lot of it's cringy. I think he was trying to be the male equivalent of Janis Joplin, doing a lot of scat singing and
That's a
really,
great
really
point.
wailing. He did give it his all every time he went out there, and I think it finally caught up with him.
Right,
But that is at a much younger age than I really
right,
thought.
right.
Because I watched The Song Remains the Same, which was filmed in 73, and some of the live passages, you can tell he's struggling. He always struggled with rock and roll, and they used to open the show with rock and
That's
roll.
interesting.
They played rock and roll at Live Aid. His voice always had trouble with it.
yeah,
I don't know why they stuck with it.
because it's such a great opener. Yeah, it's
It
probably one of
is.
the
It
best
is.
openers. Yeah.
The drumming is
Oh
monumental.
yeah.
And now we have Cheech's favorite band, Greta Van Fleet. They're carrying on the torch.
So anyway, so Paul Rogers, he's always Paul Rogers. You know who he is, but
Yeah, he always has that
yeah,
great voice.
He
yeah.
never
Love
lost
him,
it.
love
Even
him or
even
hate him,
now.
he got Jimmy out there.
Yeah.
And he's got to be given a lot of credit for that. Singing with him at the Arms concert, and then forming the band and sticking with it. And the plan was always two and out, 2 albums, 2 tours, and it was not meant to be a long-term band from the beginning.
Right.
Right.
And just to reiterate, the firm is a super group, correct?
Yeah. All
So
members are
usually,
super
as we
super.
know with super groups, they barely make it past the first album. If we can get two, now, okay, when I say that, yes, there's super groups that have two, three albums. What I'm saying is that they reach that successful commercial, and actually,
Yeah.
because the problem with like second albums from super groups is that they're not that good. Like,
Nah.
so this is a,
Except Asia. Asia had a good second album. It wasn't as good as the first
I
one, but
disagree. I don't,
I like it. I like it.
it's so boring. It's just.
It's,
For me, I remember
well,
I tried listening to it. I was like, I quickly lost my attention.
it's hard to top your first album when you're a super group. It's almost impossible. I mean, I'm trying to think of another one. The Traveling Wilburys, they did a
Second
second
album
album.
sucks, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's
Not good.
true. I
In my
agree.
opinion, it's not. It's boring. It's not as great as the
Yeah.
first one.
UK too. UK second album is
Yeah, I never even. You listen to the second UK album?
Very really, because I wasn't into it. You
What were
know,
your thoughts on Audio Slave with Chris Cornell and Tom Morello and the guys
that
from
was
Rage?
that was brilliant. That's a.
That
I'm
could
glad.
be
I'm glad
that
you brought
could
that up.
be and actually Velvet Underground. Remember Velvet Underground? I'm sorry,
They,
not Velvet Velvet Revolver.
they were great too.
They were kind of good. Yeah. The
Now you're
honestly, how
getting
I
many
haven't
albums did
got
they
yeah.
have?
only. Well, no, Velvet Revolver hung around. They had a couple
They
albums.
did. I know
I
that
don't
was a
know about
super group.
Audio
I
Slave.
just think I feel like the first Velvet Revolver album was like really good. Second one, if they had any other songs, but I don't remember any other albums from them. Audio Slave, um, I think they kind of did it.
They were. I was blown away. They had a song called Cochise. Oh my God.
Right. And Chris
They
Cornell, what a vocalist, right? Like
they
really,
really they kicked that. It was basically Rage with Chris Cornell.
right. How
You
many
know
albums did they do, Audioslave?
that I don't know. I
I
lost.
was not, I'll be honest with you, I was not a fan of Audioslave. I should revisit them because I do
Yeah.
like Soundgarden, um, but and Super Unknown, which is a really good
Oh,
album,
yeah.
but Audioslave, but I know they had a hit.
Yeah.
Um,
Cochise. That was
yeah,
his
yeah,
big hit.
yeah. I don't know if they yeah, that I'm not sure. That would have to look into. They may be an exception. Maybe an exception, but
Yeah.
most
But
super groups can't
I think
follow
they
up.
only did one album. I don't think they did, you
The
know.
only one album.
So super groups don't really last, you know. They don't they don't last. So just a little bit about Jimmy Page's sound, which is very important for this album. So we got, we know Tony Franklin is rocking the fretless, and he made it very different sounding. We can all agree on that than most of the stuff that was going out in the regular rock world. Although fretless was out there, as we brought out, Jimmy Page had learned some new scales and techniques, like radioactive. When you hear that, you're probably thinking like, what the hell's going on? And I'm going to explain that. Um, he used a 1953 Fender Telecaster, and he used his Les Paul. He also used this thing on Radioactive, a string bending tech, A Parsons, it's called. It's a white B bender, a device that allows him to bend the B string by pulling down on the guitar strap to get that creepy, crazy sound he got on Radioactive. Now he kept his Marshall stacks at home, and he used Vox AC 30 amps rather than the Marshalls. So he didn't get that heavy sound, that Zeppelin sound that we love. That's why it's a little cleaner. And he also used a new guitar. I think we talked about it on one of the episodes, called a guitar synthesizer from Roland to add atmospheric layers. What episode did we talk about the guitar synthesizer? Was it Robert Fripp? Not Robert Fripp.
Is that the key? Is that the guitar?
No, no, it's a guitar that is you have effects on it that make it sound like a synthesizer, like a synth guitar.
All right,
It
that's
might have been
very.
Carousel Alhambra on In Through the
Oh
Outdoor.
yeah.
Side
Yeah,
two.
but
Carousel Alhambra.
we talked about a guitar player who used it when we did our top 10 prog guitar players, and I don't remember who used it.
Mm.
I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I should be
Did the
shot.
guy who actually invented it? Was it Alan?
No. Yeah, Alan Holdsworth. Did he invent it? It was Holdsworth. You're right. Good
Might have been.
memory.
You seem to know about it back in the day when we did that episode.
Well, I knew a guy who played it. My bass teacher's guitar player, this guy Doug Monroe, and it was cool. And it was a thing for a while. Pat Metheny played it. It was more of a jazz thing. Didn't take off in the rock world because it wasn't heavy. It was more clean.
Mm.
But it was a cool sound. If you were back then, they had a sound called smooth jazz, and that those guys were using it, and they were getting really good sounds doing it. Um, so, oh, give me a second.
You want to talk about some of the songs on the album of side
Oh
one?
no,
Close.
no, I'm getting there.
Yeah, I was just
So
gonna say on the album cover, You can tell that they're not working with hypnosis any longer. They got an
No.
artist to do that logo for the firm, and
Yeah.
very very simple album cover, and of course the songs on the back,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Um, yeah, we talked about the music climate. Just to bring up the second album, Mean Business, it was not as successful as the first album. It did have a number one hit though, which is weird, called All the King's Horses, but it did not match the sales from the first album. And believe it or not, the first album only went gold, you know. And it was hard for them because, they're playing in MTV land. They're going against rock, rap, and heavy metal. So where does the firm fit in? You know,
Yes.
where are they gonna go? So that's the problem. I think.
A gold album is how many albums in the U.S.? Would that be 500,000,
Yeah,
100,000?
it's a half a million.
Yeah.
It's
Half
a
a
half a
million?
million.
I know
Yeah.
different countries have different criteria for a gold album
Yeah.
or a
I,
platinum.
I don't know where it went gold. I didn't get that, but I think in the US it went gold. Personal, we know, Paul Rogers, Jimmy Page, Tony Franklin, Chris Slade. I always like to give me musicians credit. Steve Dawson played trumpet on Closer. And they brought in brass, which is different.
Hmm.
Like not a lot of rock bands did that. So that might have been a turnoff to the rock and roll fans. You know, Paul War- Paul Warner played baritone sax on Closer, Willie Garnett tenor sax, Sam Brown, Helen Chappell, Joy Gates backing vocals on You Lost That Love and Feeling. Stu Epps is the engineer. Gordon Vicari mastered it. Steve Marr did the cover artwork, and it was produced by Jimmy and Paul Rogers. Okay, so we'll get into the first album, which brings me to um my seance days because we did this. We covered Closer. So when I hear that riff, I remember trying to learn it from my guitar player. Like it was yesterday. Um, One of the things you're gonna find out is that the lyrics are about the same thing.
Who wrote the lyrics?
Okay, and it's
Who
not
wrote,
about
who was the
like
principal songwriter?
music with Jimmy and Paul, because Paul was a hell of a musician as
But,
well.
but, but who wrote most of the lyrics? Paul?
Paul Rogers, I
It's
believe.
funny how Paul, listen, I love Paul Rogers, but he
Yeah,
always sings about the same thing. Like,
yeah,
I compare every song with like a theme from their album Straight Shooter. Feel like making dinner. Well, I feel
yeah,
like making love to
yeah.
you. Like all his songs are like so very similar.
It's always about a woman. He's heartbroken. Or it's about like Shooting Stars about Paul Kossoff. Sad.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a
yeah,
different,
yeah.
yeah, different.
And talk
But
about a great opening. Down, 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 down. Like that's a great.
that's a hell of a riff.
That
Page
is
is back. Page is
he and
back.
you can tell now. Page is composing the album. This is like their opener, in your face.
Yeah.
They mean business. I mean, it's like the soundtrack to the album cover. All big,
Oh,
the firm.
definitely. Definitely. So we're gonna, a lot of the lyrics are gonna be about the same thing, but different, if that makes sense, and you'll know what I mean. So it's about a romantic and physical attraction, almost overwhelming desire to be with a person. There's an intense metaphor here, like fever, burning, and lightning strikes to convey a love that feels like a physical force of nature. A nice love song for someone the narrator has a strong feeling for. It's a very romantic song. So just to go back, it's basically romance and physical attraction and an overwhelming desire for a person.
Mm.
That's what I got out of the lyrics. So it's just like you want to be with a chick. Does he get her? Is he trying to hook up with her? you know, that kind of thing. Anything on that? Any questions on that? Pretty straight ahead.
Yeah, very straight ahead. That was the opening song when I saw them in concert
Oh, the
in May
opens
of
with that?
'85.
Wow.
Yeah, they played basically every song on the album, and
That's
they played
cool.
some covers. They absolutely would not do anything associated with their former bands.
Right.
So no Zeppelin, no Bad Company.
Yeah.
Did you, Joe? Did you have? Cheech, you didn't see it from live, right?
No, I wish I did. I wish I did. I had just started to my parents had just allowed me to go to concerts at that point, like on our own without because before you'd have to go with your parents. So back then in the 80s, the cool thing was you take a limo. You take a limo to Madison Square Garden and the limo would wait for you. And if he was cool, he'd let you bring, booze in the back or smoke a joint or something. That's how the 80s were. And we went, to see Motley Crue, but the firm I didn't get to see.
Well,
So
they were larger than life.
can imagine.
You know, I mean Jimmy and Paul up
Yeah.
front, and they did not bring a horn section with them, so it was just straight ahead rock and roll.
And I'm
Really,
glad they didn't do that because I'm not a fan of that for for this kind of music. You know, Other bands it'll work, but I don't. That's the one thing I would have done without on the Firm album is a horn section
You
for
hear
me.
it on the first song.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I mean, I love the
What,
song,
what
but
kind of what kind of what kind of rock is that? Like, it's definitely not metal. It's definitely not hard rock.
funk. It's funk rock. It's like it's R&B,
It
Motown,
it is,
blues.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
very very inspired with that genre.
But you got to understand the 80s is all about the sax and the trumpet. Chuck Mangione changed that. I mean, he had a hit on what was it, the Flugelhorn, Joe? I know you have his album. You know,
yeah,
um, so like horns and stuff, especially sax, obviously. Probably Bruce Springsteen it made it popular. Horns became a thing. Listen to and
Well,
then
that
and when I'm at the temple, I laugh because there's a sax solo almost in
well,
every song.
and it's funny. An artist of this time who kind of popularized it, or actually brought it back, was Phil Collins. He
Oh,
also loved
he did the horn
incorporating
section.
I mean, it's like that Motown, horn section,
Mhm. Yeah,
like, like with like
yeah,
James Brown.
yeah,
Um, but I hear it.
well,
It's on the first track. It,
yeah.
if you go back earlier, don't you think bands like Chicago really started that movement, or Sly and the Family Stone?
Oh,
The
Chicago
horn
started
section.
it.
oh,
Oh, they
100%.
started.
I would argue
Oh,
Sly and the
yeah.
Family Stone, dude.
I would say Chicago more. No, Chicago was a horn band. I mean, I've seen them live. Like they knew how to blend horns with rock and ballads and
Right,
great,
right.
great, great songs.
Yeah, they had
Uh,
the great songs, but I prefer the Terry Kath years over the years when
oh,
Peter
he rocked
Cetera,
too.
I
Yeah,
mean, very poppy. They're obviously very popular, but the Peter Cetera years were kind of so many ballads. But the early years, wow, they really rocked.
he rocked. Yeah. And to go back to Phil Collins, I'm just gonna say one song, "No Reply
Never
at
play
All."
it all.
That
And
song, the,
then that
yeah,
weird bass, like boom, 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 boom.
yeah, and the bass is following it. So musically closer, great riff opener. Um, I said it reminds me of Seance. Has that? I love that riff.
That's a great riff.
It's a classic riff. Just for you theory heads, it's a pentatonic. It's a C D G A D. So it's a box scale. It's a box scale. You just go boom, 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 boom. So you go C D G A and then twice on the D. Boo doo 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 doo. Boo doo 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 doo. You take out two scales and it's half of a pentatonic scale. Um, so over the verse and there's a nice, great verse in pre-chorus, great fretless bass work. Oh my God, very catchy song. Great vocals, steady drums. It's a simple song, there's a great drum fill right before the bridge. That now at the bridge is where the horns come in. It gets a little proggy for a few seconds. Roger's soulful voice adds to the song that, with the horns and the soulful voice, it gives it that kind of vibe. Great guitar solo by Page. Over the verse, guitar changes, and then the chorus comes back, and then it just ends. It's a very polished. I think it's one of the most produced songs on the album, out of all of them. I think
Hmm.
so. I don't know how you guys feel. It would be my third favorite song on the album.
For me, it's top. I love it.
It's your favorite one?
I
Mine's
love it.
radio. Mine's radioactive.
I love how it hooks you in. The riff is infectious. I actually like the horns. Actually, I'm a big fan of horns and rock music because
Yeah,
I'm not a metalhead like you. I love metal, but
right.
I'm more of like I guess my rock would be more like Heartland rock. Like I do love the sax. I love
Well,
horns,
I love it too, but when I think of Page and Paul Rogers, I don't think horns, but it works. It
but
works.
they're bringing a new sound. At this point, it's very soulful. It
Yeah.
would actually mesh well with what they're trying to do on the firm, which it's not. They're not replicating. Even though it's
Great,
definitely hard.
great point. That's
It's
a
definitely
great
a hard
point.
rock record, but this is a
Yes.
rock record. Like
Yeah, yeah,
this is a very classic rock record. And from the
yeah.
first song, it pulls you in, as any good
Yeah.
record should do. And
Right.
in rock especially. The riff is amazing, and I can only imagine. I mean, Joe could probably talk about what was it like seeing it live as an opener.
Well, everybody went nuts.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
it's a song that everyone
everybody
goes
went
nuts.
nuts. I mean, Jimmy Page is on stage. It was the first time I had seen him, dressed totally in white with a white scarf, and this is before video screens. They didn't have video screens, blowing it up, but we had pretty decent seats on the floor, and God, it was just unbelievable. So much fun. I forget who was the opening band.
I was gonna ask you. Yeah,
I know who the opening band was the following year, and that was Virginia Woolf with Jason Bonham on drums.
they
But
had to have an opening band
yeah,
because back then it was all about the opening bands.
they were
Um,
usually pretty good.
Go ahead and search it up and see.
You
I'm sure who would have opened for them at that time.
know?
I don't know who would have been a good fit. Obviously, Bonham's band the next tour, but
Primarily it was Virginia Woolf.
that would have been the second tour. Yeah, maybe
No,
they didn't have an opening band.
I don't have a
no,
notice for the first one.
85, 86.
Don't don't believe the internet. I don't think Virginia Woolf was with them for both tours, 2 years in a row.
Virginia Woolf.
I think I would have remembered that.
You know what's funny? I never heard of Virginia Woolf. I listened to it.
Yeah, they were good.
All right.
A very young Jason Bonham.
Sometimes I
Okay.
forget how many times I've seen Jason Bonham. It's pretty frequent because Virginia Woolf,
Mhm.
and then 3 times with the Led Zeppelin Experience,
Yeah.
and I'm missing one. Oh, and he also was the drummer for Jimmy's Outrider tour in 1988.
Mhm.
I've
Wow.
seen him 5 times,
Phenomenal drummer.
and I go again. If I check once in a while to see if they're continuing the tour to promote the 50th anniversary of Physical Graffiti because they
Yeah.
keep adding shows because people want to see it.
Yeah. Thank God, he's keeping the legacy alive
Yeah.
of Zeppelin. That's amazing.
Thanks to Mr. Jimmy,
God, yeah. Mr.
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Sakurai, very
Um,
talented.
I have a thought, but I'm not going to say it.
Probably because we're going to end up with 6 hours again if we don't
I
get to
know.
make a break song number
But
2.
Manny's reading my mind right now. Manny and I have a telepathic connection.
Do you really want to say?
Right, right. I know you're reading my mind because I'm reading your mind. Okay. So
Yeah,
make
that's a
or
great
break.
opener. Down, 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 down,
Oh
down,
yeah.
down, down, down. Like, it's really good. I never heard it like an opener like that. If you compare like openers in his
I'm
albums
I'm
of
telling
this
you,
year that came out,
the riff is amazing. I love it. I love it. Um, I gotta have How Does Phil play it. Maybe we'll make it for the music for this
you guys should
episode.
cover that. I don't know
Yeah,
how soulful Bobby can get, but I'm pretty sure good.
definitely. The next one, make or break. Once again, the lyrics are about a relationship, but it's different. Confusion about a relationship. Um, so the narrator is confused about the girl who wants if the girl wants to be in the relationship. He needs clarity. Baby, you got to make up your mind. Um, you know, he desires for a final decision on whether to stay with the girl or separate. There's confusion, pain, and an emotional toll of him being in limbo. He wants freedom and understands an understanding, suggesting that his current state of the relationship feels restrictive or he's fenced in. There's mixed signals and he has total loss of clarity. The narrator is physically and mentally exhausted. They must make it work or end. And I love this part. Even a breakup is better than continuing in a state of confusion. So I think that's a great topic for a song. It's not like, oh, I'm in love, she loves me. It's not like her custard pie. It's kind of like we're in a relationship. Let me know if it's gonna last. Because I know that feeling of being in limbo and sort of being like, is this gonna last? Are we gonna make this or are we gonna break up? So that's pain.
Wow,
There's some,
you actually felt that.
oh, I felt everything he said.
Oh wow. Oh,
My
this
first
song speaks to you on like a soul level.
on the first relationship. Not the second one, no. The
Mm.
the first one, most definitely. So when you're in that limbo state and you're in love, it's the worst feeling to be in because you don't want it to. You you either want it to end so you could go on and be miserably, and then pick yourself up, or you want it to last. So being in limbo in a relationship sucks. It does.
Mm.
So I can relate to this lyrically to me.
That's funny. Oh, and
For sure.
Paul Rogers sings it like, definitely. I love his voice. It
It's
sounds like he,
happening. It's happening to him.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
and the way he
definitely.
sings it, I think it's one of his best vocal performances.
I would
Really
say,
good, and I love how the song is takes its time. Okay.
yeah,
The first one's in your face, and it makes sense because it's gonna pull you in, like.
yeah, yeah.
But this one, then, I love how, um, it starts like din din down, din din down, down, down,
Well,
din,
they
din.
stole this song. It,
Woo!
it's
Okay, wait,
stolen.
it's a cover.
No, they
No,
stole it from Bad Company.
Oh
It's
my
called.
God!
It's Rock Steady. The riff's Rock Steady.
Wow, dude, I was like, where have I heard this song before?
Yeah, they borrowed the idea that
Well, it's
dum
Paul Rogers.
down.
I mean, you can borrow.
Yeah, it's definitely
Ah,
rock. It's
okay,
it's
okay.
Rock Steady Part Two,
Now, is
which
that
I
the
love.
melody?
No, the groove, the boom, boom,
Okay.
boom, 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 boom. No, no, that's rock steady, But
But and then I love Paul Rogers. Like, you got me so. Like, I can see what you're saying with that. I've never felt that limbo state. I
yeah,
always been in total state, and then when I
yeah,
realize that it's not good, I'm out of here. Like,
you're smart man. You're a smart
I'm not
man.
being in purgatory. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fall into the Venus de Milo. Like, screw
No,
that.
I've been there, and
You
you
gotta know,
don't
dude. You
know.
gotta know yourself. You and Paul Rogers have to know your self-worth.
It's tough, Paul Rogers definitely. I believe Paul Rogers was going through something when he wrote this because you just can't write this. You can't. If I was to write a song, now about this, I couldn't do it because I'm not experiencing. Here we go in a psychological mindset. You can't experience something. You can't write about something meaningful unless you're experiencing it. I don't know, to quote like a Frankel kind of thing. You know what I mean? If you're experiencing pain and you write about it, let's just say like man's search for meaning, right? He experienced that pain. I can't write about pain right now because I'm not in emotional pain at the moment. I can't. I could, but it's going to sound like, is he really in pain or is it
All
a,
right, right, right.
to me, this resonates like Paul Rogers was going. I would bet Jimmy Page or Paul Rogers or somebody, your brother, your sister, your whatever, is going through some kind of pain and you're writing a song about it.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny because straight off the bat, his lyric, I mean, lyrically, it actually is, like you said, it's really smart. He says, you got me so I can't tell my left from my right."
Yeah,
Where, you're playing with my emotions and morality. I don't even know anymore, and it's getting kind of disconcerting, right? You got me
yeah.
so I can't tell the shade from the light, right? I can't
Oh,
tell if
yeah.
he's giving me shade or like, or maybe like, should I maybe leave your shade and head to the light? Get out of Plato's cave for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, I agree with you. He is the principal songwriter.
yeah,
Um, and then
He
like
gets total credit for this song, total credit
the
yeah.
on the
like
album
Cheech is
sleeve.
saying, he's definitely either he's a good actor where he can sell it because Paul Rogers does have that soulful voice.
Yeah,
I mean, if he
yeah,
can sing anything and sell it,
yeah,
or he's feeling this way where he's in this he's stuck.
yeah,
He doesn't know
yeah.
what to do. Like you say, he's in limbo.
He's in limbo, and I would bet he really is in limbo with this song. That'd be my guess. But great lyrics in painful
And you
kind of
can
thing.
understand them. So Paul Rogers is kind of the anti Roy Harper. There's not a key
Yes.
Oh
phrase
no,
in
no.
sight.
This is straight up. This is your average like Chiefs like. No, I'm saying not average, but like there is no, there's nothing in. You don't have to, be intellectual to know what he's
No,
like. Like
you
you said,
don't.
Cheech. He probably felt this, and music is therapy. So he wrote a lyric saying, we've got to make up or break up. Baby, like tell me straight.
Exactly.
He's,
And
he's not
I love the
he's
way
not
he
using
sings that.
he's not using cutesy in poetry too.
The way he sings it. We got to
Yeah,
make up or break
yeah.
up. Like he just has that feel. Oh my God. Love that dude's voice. Musically, great riff opener with great vocals. Um, then the drums come in, great lyrics. Then the full band comes in. Slide guitar for Jimmy Page on this. Steady beat. Um, you know, the beat slows down in the pre-chorus. Great chorus. Amazing guitar solo over the main groove, which is the Bad Company groove. Page is ripping. I mean, I gotta say, this is his most ripping guitar solo.
I
He,
think yeah, it's one of his ripping ones on the album.
he rips on
He's
this
like
one.
Joe's saying, he's back. Like you hear him soloing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's funny at this time there were plenty of guitar solos,
yeah,
but you finally have someone, Page. I mean,
yeah,
to
yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah, I
He,
know. I mean, the Guitar Heroes were more metal, Van Halen and
of
guys like
course,
that,
of course,
But
and Metal
Gilmore,
and a little guy named Kirk Hammett from Metallica.
yeah, and Gilmore came back in the
Yes,
'80s, so Page, Gilmore, these players, their signature sounds were coming back into the public ears.
Joe
So he,
Walsh, too. Joe
oh,
Walsh made
yeah,
a great
so what?
comeback. He did an album called The Confessor. And if you have a chance, listen to The Confessor. Um, I love the Don Henley album and I love the Joe Walsh album. And I always thought those two guys were better as solo artists than being in the Eagles. I thought the Eagles was kind of, I hate to say it, despite their musical brilliance, kind of dull to watch in concert. But Joe
yeah.
Walsh was so much fun in concert, and Henley, he really had a raunchy band the night I saw him at the Garden when he was like at his peak. He did
Um,
Summer of '69, right? That was his big song. No,
No,
is
no,
that Bryan Adams?
that's Brian
I'm
Adams. Oh,
thinking
he's pretty
of
good too.
Dirty Laundry. I remember was on the
Yeah.
album.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good song.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, Joe Walsh,
Also shout
great
out to
riff
Glenn.
master.
Yes, yes. He was my favorite guy in the I remember you're right. The Eagles live is pretty boring, but he added like a nice like have you ever seen him live? Like he's always an eccentric and he's in all respect for Don Felder, but he's a little boring. Even though he's technical, he's amazing. But I
yeah,
like Joe Walsh's like yet style and Don Henley, his voice. He had that great voice, which I
beautiful
agree with
voice.
Joe. Like so, like the Boys of Summer. I think it's a really great. He
Oh, that's a.
what
I love
what
the
a
Atari's version of it.
yeah well both yeah but
Yeah.
Don Henley and Glenn Fry too. He was pretty
Oh,
good.
they were great.
Yeah, he did the
You can't touch
songs
them.
on Miami Vice. I think yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Miami Vice. Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good
yeah.
stuff there. But yeah,
He did.
Paige.
I thought it was Jan Hammer. Miami Vice.
He
What
Was
were
it
you
sang.
Jan?
saying?
He's saying Glenn Fry was asked, I'm pretty sure it's that show. He sang a couple songs for the show. I think one
Okay.
became a theme song. Oh, well, not theme song, but it's in the I'll send it to you. It's really good. It
Yeah.
got me thinking like, oh, I forgot about Glenn, I think Glenn Fry. I think pretty
Yeah. I think he was an actor in his spare time, so he probably appeared on Miami Vice as a
he
character.
did. He actually did. So, but I'll send you the songs. But yeah, you're right. Solo, the members, Don Henley, Joe Wash being, obviously superior.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paige is back with these soloing. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. I mean, he
great.
rips on it. He rips over the verse solo. Like I said, the Bad Company riff. He uses slide guitar. Just great drums, amazing bass, and for me, what makes this song, Jimmy Page's solo, yes, but Paul Rogers' vocal
Hmm.
sound, lyrics, and feel. That's everything for me on this song. Make or break. It's just phenomenal. Great, great song. So far, out of all these songs, there's like not a bad song. It's a great album.
No, side one. This is right. What
This
would
is
be side one, Joe? Like,
side one.
Well, I like the next song, "Someone to Love." I thought it was very catchy. I thought it was well done.
Yeah,
I unfortunately can't think of the riff in my head because Radioactive is just like dominating my head.
yeah,
But I when I was listening to the album this afternoon, yeah, "Someone to Love" stuck out. I thought it was pretty good, and of course, "Radioactive." But we're gonna just stick with side one today
yeah.
because I like a couple of the songs on side two as well. And of course,
That's-
side two has the song that Jimmy took with him from his Zeppelin days.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Some
alert.
Someone to Love is the complete opposite of this song. Okay, once again, it's about a woman. It's a complete opposite. Finding a romantic, um, an emotional connection. The narrator found a partner, leading to the disappearance of his troubles. The narrator says the woman gives him music in my soul, emphasizing a deep spiritual or creative bond. It is the desire to have someone by your side or to share life's up and downs with. He has a sense of peace from the past difficulties. The woman um, makes the singer fills the singer with creativity and spirit. He has found the one forever. During the ups and downs, she makes him feel good. So it goes from his depressing song to finding his soul, basically finding your soulmate, you know,
hmm.
until she fucks him over in the next song.
The story of
I'm
Paul
just,
Rogers, huh?
I'm just joking, but any comments on that? I think it's just a good positive song about finding the one,
Yeah,
you know.
Page and Rogers co-wrote that one. So I
Okay.
always assume when I see that Page did the music and Rogers did the vocals.
Right.
I'm sorry, the lyrics.
The music has a nice production, not overproduced. Sounds like a mistake in the intro. It's a weird little thing that they do. Great riff over vocals, crazy fretless Jocko bass. It's insane. The bass is nuts on this. Great steady drums, great lyrics, great chorus. Has a Zeppelin vibe. I would say this is the most Zeppelin sounding song on the pre-chorus. It's a great blend of Bad Company and Led Zeppelin. Uh, Almost has a can't get enough of your love vibe. I can't stop talking about the fretless groove. Um, Great pre-chorus. What else did I have? Great guitar solo again over the main riff. Typical Page mastery. Back to the third verse, then a break in the song. Nice effect on the vocals. Great vocal performance and lyrics. Great hits at the end of the song. So just a great musical and lyrical song. So any comments on that one? Straight ahead.
Yeah, straight ahead. Yeah.
Not much.
I agree with you, Cheech. Most the groove rock is back.
This is
That's
the
a
most
Led
Led
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin song.
That's a Led Zeppelin trademark. I call it dance
Yeah,
groove rock. So it's
yeah.
back.
That.
And
What would
Page
you
is just
say?
good.
Where would you say that this would fall in Zeppelin riffage? This riff that he
I
has,
call it the like my favorite, for
like
example, is the Rover. Down, 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 down,
yeah,
down, down,
yeah,
down. Like this is down, 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 boom, down, 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 boom, down. I call
yeah,
it. I mean, people are gonna hate me too, but or probably say you're wrong about that. But they invented dance groove rock, which it's just like they're just it's just a really great song, and it's meant to get people dancing, and and I love how you said it's positive. It's great. It's great
yeah,
message.
yeah,
Found. And I love the chorus, like when he's like, found, yeah, one. Like I hear like
yeah,
going I feel like live would have been like a great like back and forth
yeah,
in the
yeah.
audience then.
It's a great song. Most Zeppelin. Love the lyrics because they're uplifting about finding the one. Until she leaves him, and then he'll be heartbroken on the next. That's what I love about Paul Rogers. I can't get enough of your love. He's so positive. Feel like making love, and then there's gonna be a song that he's just like, destroyed. Um, okay, so the next one is Together. Um, this is one I got a weird one from. I don't understand how I did a little research, a little AI, I did a little Reddit. This is what I came up with. The translation to adulthood and desire for shared company and understanding of life from a mature perspective, youthful independence and emotional need. It expresses a deep-seated need for a partner to share life with. So once again, he's looking for a woman, a partner to share the world as a wonderful land, better enjoyed together. Finding romance, synchronicity is required in a relationship, forgetting the past and moving forward. So once again, it's a point about growing older in adulthood because they are going up in age and maybe finding the right woman. Maybe they've been divorced a bunch of times or never, obviously they wrote albums about this and they made careers out of heartbreak, and they're looking to find the right woman. And do they find her or do they not? That's the question. So, you know where our themes are with Rogers. They're always about ups and downs, happiness or sadness with women. This poor guy. Is he married now? I wonder what is he I hope he's a grandfather and happy, or is he just like broken hearted and uh, you know. But at least he's getting royalty checks for those emotions. Um, Musically, mellow acoustic intro, nice solo in the intro, very simple song, great vocals and lyrics. I would say this has a Zeppelin riffage vibe. Great pre-chorus. Once again, amazing bass, steady drums. I love the bridge. The bass. Okay, this is interesting. The bass follows the vocals in this song. It's a very melodic bass line. That always caught my ear as a kid. So the bass line is following the vocals. Nice drum fills, nice guitar solo, very Zepp. I love his ride cymbal groove. Do you know what the ride cymbal is? You know, that big cymbal that you ding, 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 ding. Uh, a lot of great, a lot of great drummers like Bruford and Pert, they use the ride cymbal. I'm trying to think. Phil Collins that Genesis video, he's rocking on the ride cymbal. This is a great example of a ride cymbal grooving song. This is again a great blend of Zeppelin and Bad Company. It's very overproduced. The drums are very overproduced, but I do like the groove. I'm not crazy about the drum. I love the drums. They sound amazing. I'm not crazy about the drum production, and it's very overproduced, I think, overall, for the band, you know. So any comments on that?
I think you got it, Cheech.
So how are we so far? I mean, I think there's not one bad song.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really see the Zeppelin connection, but that's because I'm so
I don't see,
difficult.
yeah,
I'm
Cheech, I
so
disagree with
critical
you.
of Zeppelin to begin with. Zeppelin, people that love Zeppelin are also their toughest critics. You
Well, I'm
know,
here. Maybe it's not Zeppelin, but it's
I
Page.
I don't hear Page, I don't hear Zeppelin.
No,
I hear okay, first of all, I hear a very poppy tune. I think they were trying to make this perhaps if someone gave me the idea this should be maybe a lead single kind of song.
but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't fit well in the album. It is a good song. It's just
yes.
it's I guess the ballad, if you want to call it that.
Maybe it's a filler.
It's a good
no,
song.
no,
It's
no.
good.
Oh, it's a great song. It's a great song.
It's
I
great.
mean,
Very
yeah,
different though.
yeah,
I actually do like the drums. You're right. Not the sound, but the fills are really good.
yeah. The
I like.
production is not good of the drums, but
No,
the
no, but the
drumming is
drumming
good.
is good. The song is very like cinematic too. Like it builds
Yeah,
on.
it's a typical '80s production sound
Yes,
of a great rock song,
yes,
I think.
yeah. Definitely don't hear Zeppelin though. This I don't even know what I would compare it. Would this be maybe more Bad Company? Maybe.
No, I don't really hear, but I hear more.
Well, I will say, but what do you think about the intro on Shooting Star? Because down, 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 like that acoustic intro.
I can hear that. I can hear that.
No, no, not in
And
this song, but I'm saying like this is definitely
yeah, that vibe. Yeah, because Jimmy Page wrote the music, but you got to understand Paul Rogers wrote music too.
right.
So when they say they collabed, I think Paul Rogers wrote riffs with Jimmy Page. He played guitar as well.
I know Joe would
Um,
disagree. I would not agree with that. I think Page wrote the music and riffs, and because Page is not he wrote lyrics, but in Led Zeppelin it was Plant that was writing most of them.
but in Bad Company, Paul Rogers wrote music too
Okay,
because he's
but was he the prime lyricist in Bad Company?
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So
What Cheech, you like Together? Do you like the song? Is it
uh, to me, there's not one bad song.
no, it's a
I
good
don't,
song, but do you like
yeah,
Left? Is it like
I think it's a great song,
awesome? I
except
think
for
Joe, you love it, I'm assuming.
I don't love it. I don't
Ah,
know why.
there
Because then
we
I was
go.
thinking,
Okay,
oh, you know what?
yay. The truth. Yes.
I guess I got to listen to it again.
I
There's just such a strong Paul Rogers influence on a lot of these songs. And
yes.
Jimmy changed his guitar sound. I know he did it on purpose because he wanted to leave Zeppelin behind in a way and move on with a new chapter in his life, in his career. Uh, I always think of Jimmy as not being a lyricist at all.
Yeah, same. I don't if he was, I don't know
You
if
know, in other words, I think that they like Jimmy Page and Robert Plant or Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page didn't have the same kind of songwriting uh, teamwork as you would find with John Lennon and Paul McCartney in their
right,
prime.
Right.
where Paul would say, "What do you think of this?" And he'd sing him a verse, and Lennon would think about it and go, make a suggestion, like he did with "Hey Jude" with the thing about the shoulder. Apparently, Paul McCartney uses the word shoulder in two lines in one verse, and he played it for Lennon and said, don't worry about that part. I'll clean it up. I'll get that second shoulder out. And Lennon was like, no, no, no. That's the
That
best. That's the
that's the
best
best
line in the
part.
song,
Yeah.
and that was "Hey Jude."
Yeah.
Whereas with Jimmy, he probably didn't even look at the lyrics. In my
No. Well, that's the thing. I don't.
like it's your thing, you do your thing, and I got the music, I got the guitar pieces.
Yeah. And it's funny because most of I was watching a great YouTube video of them the making of Led Zeppelin 3. And when they go the song That's the Way, which is actually one of my favorites, um Page had the melody. Plant then started writing lyrics. Like
Yeah.
Plant is
Yeah,
a genius lyricist. I mean, he definitely it came from so Paul Rogers the lyricist. But you really got to dig Paul Rogers style because I
yeah,
agree with Joe. This is a Paul Rogers song. For me, it
yeah,
sounds a
Oh yeah.
little bit Bad Company-ish, a little bit.
If anything, this sounds something like of off of Paul Rogers' solo work.
Yes, yeah, it
I
doesn't fit
mean,
on the album. Like it's good. I can't say it's like my favorite.
mm,
Um,
I mean,
but
I'm having trouble with this Firm album because there are no songs about hobbits on it.
no, it's all about chick.
There's no hobbits.
What did you
There's
say?
no
Well,
Shires, no
It's all about
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't. If the only way hobbits and stuff like that would work is if it was a metal situation in the 80s. In the 80s, the fantasy,
I need more Keatsian poetry.
like dragons and all that stuff and Vikings, that the metal bands were doing Manowar and Iron Maiden, they were covering all that with
It's funny.
heavy, heavy
And
riffs.
Led Zeppelin too, when he's like, um, I left my girl with Gollum. Like, I
No,
love
but
it.
like if they were putting hobbits on the firm, they would get laughed
Well,
at. You know what I mean?
they would need Plant for that, but I don't think
Yeah.
Rogers was reading about hobbits.
No,
I think
I think what Rogers did is he is a soul singer. And when
Yes,
you're a soul singer, you're singing from your soul.
yes,
So
yes.
what he's doing is he's pouring out his emotion on this album, and he can't help it. That's just the way the guy is. He did it when you hear Free. Oh my God! You listen to the songs in Free. He must have been in a ton of pain as a 19-year-old kid because he was singing his ass off in Free. To me, Paul Rogers is one of my like all-time favorite singers in the sense of like a soul artist. When you think like Steve Marriott is also a soul singer, but
Right.
he's also like Plant. But I would say Paul Rogers and Steve Marriott are the greatest soulful rock singers, or Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker poured his soul
Mm,
into songs, when you hear him singing at Woodstock, and he's doing, the
right.
Beatles cover, like you could feel the soul. Not that Page had tons of soul, but you know what? There's a difference.
No,
There's a
but
difference.
no, well, Page sold his soul to Crowley. No, I'm kidding. But no, but it's funny. It's actually that's actually one of the with Plant, one of the critics. I love Plant. You guys know this, right? Huge. I love his lyrics. I love his voice. I have no problems. I also say that Glee was in the beginnings of Rush was trying
Oh,
to
of course, of
imitate
course.
Plant. That's
Like,
what, but he maybe did it too much. Kind of like Greta Van Fleet is doing the same thing today. But it's interesting what you say there because Paul Rogers, first of all, he has a soulful voice. This dude can sing, and it comes from the soul. Like it's not.
oh yeah.
Plant was criticized because they thought there was something inauthentic about when he tried to do like a blues song or something.
He was trying to sound black, like the
I
blues
disagree. No,
guys.
but I disagree with that.
No,
But
no, that's what the critics said.
right, I get
Yeah.
the criticism.
I disagree with that. Robert Plant is Robert Plant, and I think he's probably the greatest vocalist in rock music. You know what I mean?
One a
And,
top.
and
Yeah.
he and he tries to take Buka White. He phrases. If you've listened to Buka White a lot, he phrases just like Buka White.
Right, right.
And he wants to sound like a blues
And
artist.
And I love what you said. I think it was you that said that. And I now I'm starting to understand. He took a lot from Janis Joplin too. Like he was
Yeah.
trying to channel that all those energies in
Oh,
his
and so did Steve Marriott. Those
right,
guys took
right.
they took it's all right. Janis Joplin might be the greatest feel
Yes.
uh
Oh, and
pouring her soul.
you watch her perform, she's crying every lyric, she's sweating it out, not because of the performance itself. It's just that the intensity of her, because I
That was a broken woman.
the song
She was
take another
destroyed.
piece of my heart when she's screaming that take another piece of my heart and like
Yeah.
this girl's in pain, dude.
Yeah. She was screaming at this guy in the opposite, usually, from what Paul Rogers is doing. She was in pain, you know, me and Bobby McGee. It's like sad. She had a lot of emotion. Janis Joplin is the greatest female
And,
vocalist of all
and
time.
back to Together song, I mean, it's very melancholic. Like he's saying, like now that I'm a man, I understand. This is not Page or like these type of lyrics. Like these are definitely a man that's kind of feeling a little melancholic. So I think
Middle age is setting in.
he's not, he's saying like I need someone to share this wonderland together of life. A man and woman should find romance. He's also a hopeless romantic. I don't think Page obviously is a human. Like he definitely had romance stuff,
Yeah.
but Paul Rogers definitely is bringing something like Joe said. Like it's very Paul Rogersian. So you gotta
Yeah, yeah.
like that. That's the problem with this song though because maybe it's a little too much.
It could have been a Paul Rogers solo album.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I
This
think
would have been
so.
a. And before you hit on to the next one, just quickly, just as a thought, I would wonder who decided to cover "You Lost That Love and Feeling." I know I'm going to do that next week, but who
Paul
decided because
Rogers.
that is the king of melancholic, sad,
I would
and
bet my life on it. Paul Rogers. I don't think Page would have said, "Let's do
wow.
this,"
And it's
because
not
it's
dude, and it's not blues.
no.
Like
It's like a
blues is more like
it's a sad song. So
it's sad.
so
They used to
who's to
call it
play?
sad, wide-eyed soul, blue-eyed soul.
Right. And what is Paul Rogers? He is the
Uh,
epitome of that.
it's almost like a mesh, and it's just funny the mesh. And I love the firm album cover because it's kind of like that, where you get the towering Page and his riffage, but then you get Rogers like
Yeah.
aesthetic and like what he's bringing in. He's creating something interesting. Like it's a
Yeah.
nice, there's like a nice friction in the album.
Yeah.
Sadly, this song Rogers takes totally over, and like Joe said, I guess respectfully, right? Because
Yeah.
um uh Paige was like, all right, I'll let Rogers take over and then I'll more on the back seat, you know.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. I don't think so far on out of all the songs we did, Closer, Make or Break, Someone to Love, Together, four songs are this is all amazing, I think, rock songs. This is a great album so far. Deep diving on the first side. I love it. Leading up to the probably the best song on
Yeah.
the album. I'm torn because I love Satisfaction Guaranteed and I love Closer, but Satisfaction Guaranteed has a deep root with me. So I'm gonna say, oof, I don't know if Radioactive or Satisfaction Guaranteed, which one is better for me. They're both equal. And Closer is second, so.
I like Radioactive. It's very catchy. The first time I heard it, it was
Oh
very
yeah.
catchy. Just sticks in your
It-
head.
it's amazing. And the bass line, oh my God. Radioactive. Now it's weird. It's just a weird song. I don't know. Once again, it's about somebody, preferably a woman, I think. It's a metaphor for electrical, irreversible attraction for a person with almost dangerous levels of like charisma. So it's somebody who walks into a room and lights up the room. You ever met somebody like that? Or seen somebody? They just walk into a room and like they light up the whole room.
Yeah, but I don't think of Radioactive as being a positive compliment. I think of it as being a dangerous element.
Well, no, this is the impression I got when I listened to it, but there is a warning.
Jeez, radioactive means. Dude, radioactive gives you cancer, man.
Well, no, I'm gonna get to that. There's
No, I'm
just a
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being like a
yeah.
chemistry thing. Yeah,
No,
like when you have a radioactive isotope, like you get
no,
cancer.
I'm gonna get to it. So a well, basically, it's a
Oh,
warning.
Joe had me laugh right now. Like he's like, I don't think it's. But I know what you mean. Like you got the person that lights up the room. I've seen it.
Right.
I love those people. Like they come
Yeah.
in.
This
Remember
I'll
that
walk.
lyric that Robert Plant did? That she has a light in her eye that keeps shining like a star that can't wait for the night
yeah. I mean,
from Into the Outdoor.
something
What
like
was it?
that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Fool
mean,
in the Rain, I think.
yeah. This is like what I got from it. Somebody who's like got charisma, but it also warns about getting close to someone who is radioactive, suggesting that their energy or personality is so intense that it could be a bad thing. um, a metaphor to an attraction as something as hazardous yet irreversible, mirroring the way radiation is powerful and invisible and harmful.
I love how you totally overanalyze that song in the beginning.
I really listened
Yo,
to the lyrics.
she's just trying to, you're trying to like harp for this, like I
Yeah.
think the song is straightforward. I think like
I mean, does any of it make sense though? You
no,
think?
no, no, totally no. It's just like you like overanalyze it.
I mean that's when I was listening to the lyrics because like I don't want to just say, oh yeah, blah blah blah. I wanted to really give it a like a deep dive of what I think it was about, you know. Um, but I think if anything, it's about someone who walks into a
Oh,
room
well,
and
analyze
lights it
this.
up.
Wait, dude, analyze this. Cheech, turn me on tonight because I'm radioactive. What does that mean?
Somebody who's full of charisma.
Wait, turn me on tonight?
Uh I
Like a
don't
light
know.
switch?
Well, sexual.
Oh no, I'm thinking that. I'm not thinking
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
and it's funny because he's like, well, I'm not uptight, not unattractive. Turn me on tonight because I'm radioactive.
Well, radioactive, what does that mean to you? That
You
he
tell
has
me.
something. He's got charisma.
Now
He's got
he's if he's radioactive, what does that mean? Like,
that he has that ability to attract the woman to turn him on tonight. I think.
all right, all right.
I don't know.
Is he calling himself toxic, you think here? Or like does
What
he
is the second?
know
Go to the second verse. Does it get into anything?
there's not a fight and I'm not your captive? Turn me loose tonight because I'm radioactive.
So there is a fight in a way.
Dude, this song's really funny. It's very so, dude. This is definitely Paul Roger Syrian
Yeah,
because it's that song, same thing like feel like making damn damn feel
yeah.
like making love to
I
like
mean,
Paul
it's
Roger
hard
just
to.
has that great rock and roll swagger like.
Oh yeah,
And he's like a radioactive. I think you know what it is like at a analyzation level.
yeah.
The idea of someone being radioactive is interesting because first of all, what is some radioactive? It is when you have in the chemical periodic table when an isotope becomes approaches levels where it does not match its like form, it becomes radioactive and dangerous to humans.
Right.
And so I think this dude knows that he's toxic and he's just sleeping with women. Like it's pretty
Yeah,
simple. He's like, yo, I'm radioactive. Listen, baby, turn me loose tonight.
yeah.
I'm not
Well,
unattractive.
no, I pointed that out though. Like warning about getting close to someone who's radioactive. So a woman might not want to get with you because you're radioactive. God, we're analyzing this song crazy.
Well, the end of the song kind of admits that maybe he's a dangerous character because it says, "Don't you stand too close, you might catch it because I'm radioactive." I moved the
So
line around, but that's okay.
basically, he has charisma. he's attracting people, but once you're attracted to him or her, something bad's gonna happen because he's radioactive. Those are the three things I
Oh,
get.
this is coming from the male perspective, of
Or
course.
or it could be about I mean, could it be a woman that's radioactive?
No,
No.
no.
Um, I agree with Joe. I think it's about a male. I think it's about Paul
Yeah,
Rod, Paul
I think
Rogers is
it's. I also think it's about a one night stand. I want to stay with you. I don't want to play with you. I want just to lay with you, and I want you to know.
yeah,
Well,
it's a pre-chorus.
well,
You're
yeah,
singing the
well,
pre
this idea hinges on the idea of something being radioactive, which again, for me, when I think radioactive, I don't think I think like more like chemistry, and I think I mean I don't want to go rated R, but he's talking about something else here. I'm not going too much details
Well, okay,
because
let's break it
Bec-
down.
let me tell
Brian,
you why.
All right.
Because from a periodic table, so from a chemical perspective, channeling,
right,
you guys in Breaking Bad, I'm channeling like Walter White. You guys seen Breaking Bad, the show?
oh yeah, of course, yeah,
Okay.
Oh man, yes.
So it's funny because radioactive elements now it's interesting if that idea, but um so like I said, like a chemical substance becomes their atomic structure and nuclei become unstable. That's what causes radiation.
right,
So and again, I'm not trying to poke fun of this because you made me laugh, but when you approach these chemicals, their ionizing particles give you cancer. They're actually toxic for you.
right,
So when this dude, and also there's decay too, eventually. They go from stability to decay.
yeah.
Okay. So now is Paul Rogers channeling his like chemistry when he's saying this? Like I'd wonder.
Is he just a player and he's
Well, that well that's
radioactive?
well that's the thing because I think he knows that he's a toxic dude.
Yeah.
But he's
Oh yeah,
trying
go.
he's
Well, think about it. We know toxic people. We work at the temple. We know toxic people. So is he one of those people, but he's using it towards sexual encounters? That might be it.
and spreading his radioactive everywhere. I mean, like
I
so
mean,
rated R here, but
it's a tough one. This is a tough
I,
song to like
I think this
say.
guy is like a bug zapper. He attracts bugs from miles away, and if they get too close, they get zapped
I mean,
because he's radioactive.
maybe he's a good-looking dude. He has charisma. Like I said, he has
and
everything.
by the way, these elements release excess energy. I mean, take the metaphor to its conclusion.
Yeah.
Release. I mean, I
He's
think also
attracting. I like that bug zapper thing. Like he's a charismatic guy. He wants one thing. He's gonna get it because he's gonna attract these women, and he's radioactive because in the end they may want something from him, but he got what he wanted, and he's like goodbye. So he's toxic.
well that's the classical figural tense of someone who's radioactive, that they're toxic.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
So
think
let's sum it up as he's a toxic
to-
dude
toxic
who,
dude. Ooh.
who's trying to get some, and when he gets it, he's just gone.
Yeah, pretty much. Because he even says like, I want to stay with you. I don't want to play with you. But then he says, I want just to lay with you.
I love that part because that you're
I,
singing what you're singing is the pre-chorus, which to me is one of the best parts of the song. I
yep,
love that part.
yep. And I know you're gonna speak to music. Musically, when Paige starts singing that, it streams like like that
Yeah,
weird guitar solo.
it's insane.
I think it speaks on that. Like,
Oh yeah,
but yeah, this dude is radioactive, toxic. I mean,
he's a toxic
he
player.
admits it. He's a toxic dude.
He's a toxic dude who's breaking hearts, and he says that in the pre-chorus.
And no, even just don't stand too close.
Right, right.
Because he's gonna release his energy on you.
Yeah.
The guitar gadgetry, the weird sounds that he makes on Radioactive reminds me a lot of In the Evening from In Through the Outdoor. He does similar, not similar, well, kind of guitar gadgetry, makes unusual sounds because Jimmy was always trying to write songs on the guitar where the guitar did not sound like a guitar. And I'm like, I used to read these quotes of him saying that in magazines, and I'm like, he's one of the greatest guitarists in the world. He's a guitarist. He should make it sound like it's a guitar song. But he was trying to experiment with new sounds. And I
Yeah,
think on Radioactive he did it. And I think on In the Evening with Zeppelin he did it.
definitely.
In the evening, it sounds like he's dropping something, and he's actually doing it on with the guitar. I don't know
Yeah,
how he did it. It's kind of
yeah.
cool.
Um,
So do we have like a 15-minute discussion of a song that's like 3.5 minutes?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
She's really want to like harp for this. Like,
I think the
I
lyrics are
mean,
very, very closely associated with Blake.
no. I mean, do you see my point though at all?
I wonder
What
what's
I
the
was saying.
philosophical meanings behind Radioactive here.
But like I was just I mean, I think I made some points. Like it's about somebody who is basically attracting women and he's a toxic dude. You know what I mean? I think that's just my interpretation of it. I could be wrong. But um so musically, I mean obviously Tony Franklin to me makes this whole song with a slippery, fretless, melodic Jocko style bass line. Jimmy uses that dissonant wah pedal effect to add high energy atmosphere. Um, some say that Paul Rogers is playing the main lead riff. I don't know if that's a rumor. I don't know. I read that somewhere. Nice drum sound that anchors the guitar and bass, great melody and vocals. Um, Jimmy Page gets that strange sound by muting the strings with his fretted hand rhythmically, scratching across the muted strings with a pick using a Vox wah pedal, engaged in a fixed position to emphasize the treble as he snaps off the pick, hitting the strings. That's basically my interpretation of the music on that.
I will. The song would have been just because it's such a. It's okay. Take out Page's guitar parts.
All
The
right.
song is pretty straightforward. Honestly, it's a guy. He just wants
Yeah.
what he wants. Toxic dude that you and me at a bar. I
Yeah.
mean, we know these radioactive guys. I don't think. But it's interesting. It's pretty straightforward. It sounds, acoustic. I don't even know. It sounds like a Bad Company song. Now, put in Page's guitar work, and the song gets elevated
Yeah.
because you hear that weird guitar line. It is strange. It is dissonant. It clashes with the melody, and it's
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It worked.
genius.
It's total genius. The best
And
song
here
on
he's
one of
he's
the best
his
songs on the
guitar
album.
solo is literally singing um a element that's radioactive because that's
Yeah.
essentially what happens. There's a breakdown. It becomes unstable,
Yeah. I mean,
I think
I
he's
and it sounds
warning
kind of
the
creepy.
girl. He's warning the girl that he's trouble. He's giving her a chance to get out.
Oh,
yeah.
100%. That's why I use that metaphor. I'm radioactive. Like, get away from me because I'm gonna, you know, I'm unstable. I'm gonna spread my radio
Right.
isotope on you. Like, did you agree? Yeah, did you have me
No.
die? I can't wait to rewatch that. You breaking down the lyrics of this, like
I think it's Shakespearean.
it's Shakespearean.
I mean, I don't know. It kind of. I mean, musically, I love it. I love it
Musically,
musically.
it's very unique.
Yeah.
It, it's sad because I never hear it on top lists. Like it's one of the most unique 80s
Yeah.
melodies. Like it's very unique. Like,
Yeah, it should have been. It's for this. Unfortunately, maybe we'll get people back to listen to the firm,
right.
but they're forgotten, and this song is
No.
forgotten.
And you being the musicologist, when I hear like he's doing a weird scale. I don't know. Like it just
Well, he's got that effect that I talked about earlier.
right. What scales is
It's
he playing though? What is he doing?
he's probably using some kind of exotic mode, like an Indian mode or something
Right,
like
because it
that.
sounds so
You know, what heavy effects on it to
right.
make it sound weird, you know. And it's a simple groove. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom, 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 boom. That kind of thing. So and then it goes to the pre-chorus, which is two chords.
right.
We used to cover this song, and I think
No,
the
this sounds like an 80s hit. Like I could like
this pre-chorus,
without knowing the album, I must admit I knew the firm. I never bothered to listen to them.
yeah,
Listen to the album and I paused when I heard Radioactive and I was like,
this is one of
this
the
is the
best. This
song.
is
It's
this is a song
perfect.
off the album. It's perfect. It went to
It-
number one. You know,
and
Did we miss
again,
the pun? There's a very obvious like wordplay pun. It's radioactive. This song is going to make them radio
you
active.
know what's funny? Actually analyzing that. That's another so Cheech said actually you're right with Cheech, maybe you're right on like analyzing the song because I think it's everything is a hidden pun where Rogers has just recuperated from some sort of lost love. He's at a bar, he's looking for love, and he's singing to a girl, I am radio active pretty soon, baby. And why I say that is because at the end he does this cool thing where he says, babe, radioactive, radioactive, like he keeps saying radio, and actually that's the first thing I thought too. Like
that's a good point.
and then he
It's going to
says
get
like
them back
I
on
go
the
radio,
radio.
radio, radio.
Yeah,
Radio active. Yeah. I mean, it has
but
all the elements that a Roy Harper song does not. It's less than
but
4 minutes. It has understandable lyrics if you don't overanalyze them. And
but at the same time,
it's catchy.
there's no radio anymore. So
Yeah,
what's the
there was in
difference?
1985.
I, I never remember this
There
being
was
played on the radio.
radio. I'll be
No,
honest,
no,
the radio was probably up to 2000s.
no. But I don't ever remember hearing this on the radio. Ever. I remember seeing this on MTV.
But you're
That's
listening to the metal station.
no.
Oh,
I would listen to classic rock all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah. I can't say like I never
Surprised.
heard
This
this.
song
This
sounds like a radio classic rock song. Like,
this might have been played on the radio when the
well, how about
album
this?
came
Did
out.
you hear Centerfield by John Fogerty on the radio?
Yeah, I would hear it.
yes.
Okay, what about Old Man Down the Road?
Yes.
So this one wasn't playing on the radio?
Not that I could remember.
All right, that's weird.
But I will say it was played on MTV every single day, at least four times a day.
All right.
So so MTV took over for that MTV definitely took over for radio for well, not that they're new, but for a new album.
Right. But
When
I
Rush
will admit though, but I feel like I always thought about that there's definitely a tension with the MTV era. That's more, and you see it. I saw this great movie called Sing Street. It takes place in the 80s in Dublin, Ireland. And one of the scenes, the dad watches a video by Duran Duran, Rio. The young kids in the family are like, yeah, this is awesome. And the dad's like, oh, I'm getting a total shite because they can't play their instrument and it's all fake. And look at them, they wear makeup. Like there's a tension. There's two people, the
yeah.
old heads and
Yeah.
then the young generation. So I think both existed. I'm surprised you were listening to the radio. I mean, did your family teach you or
Well, Um, when I would listen to the radio, it would be like, say we're going, on a trip, you know, and if I didn't have a Walkman, I would always argue with my father. He wanted to hear the oldies, CBS FM, and I always wanted to hear either WPLJ or 102 NEW, I believe, or the Long Island station. Um, and in all my life, this was not played on the radio. I'm not saying I listen to the radio all the time, but I did watch MTV probably like 14 hours a day when I was this age with my sister. That was on MTV was on in the house. And for a short period of time, this was on MTV constantly. Just like Big Money. Big Money was not played on the radio like Tom Sawyer. Big Money came out the same year, Power Windows. They might have played it on the radio and said, "Here's Rush's new album. Here's a single, Big Money." Maybe played it for a week, 2 weeks, maybe up to a month. I don't think you'll ever hear Big Money played on the radio. It's another example. But you'll hear Tom Sawyer, Limelight, you'll hear every Led Zeppelin song, you'll hear every Bad Company song. This this and Big Money, I don't remember. I mean, Joe, do you remember this being played on the radio?
When it first came out, yeah.
Right, right.
I used to listen to 95.9 WFOX out of Norwalk,
The
and
Fox.
it was a classic rock format. And I'm sure that I heard that many times when the album was first released and it was being promoted.
And
And then,
that's it.
like anything else, it fades away
Yeah,
until they come back to town. They come to town,
yeah,
and like played
exactly.
in New Haven or
Yeah,
Hartford,
yeah.
um, or well, it was tri-state area. So anywhere, yeah. When they came to town, they would get some rotation
But
going.
I'm gonna get technical. Was the Fox out then, or was it still WPLJ in 1985? Because the Fox, I think, came later on. I'm just getting real technical on radio right now.
Are
I
you saying
think
that the call letters for WFOX at 95.9 is the same as PLJ?
I think PLJ changed to the Fox in the 90s.
It's funny how you got technical. And it's so radioactive and invited so much discourse. This is so funny.
This would
I
be
have
on
down
the
that WPLJ was 95.5 FM.
Wait, say it again. WPLJ was,
95.5,
and then what was the Fox?
95.9.
And they were out at the same time.
Yeah,
Really? They were out at the same time in 1984?
I think so. Well, I
I
can't
don't.
prove it. I can't prove it. I do know that when I lived in Norwalk and I moved there in 1989, Fox was the station I listened to. It
Wait, hold on. Let me see
was
something.
in '89.
Manny, could you Google that? I'm just curious now because this is gonna drive me nuts. Could you Google when not would say when what the Fox was? Because
WFOX 95.9 FM.
because Carol Miller, I always listen to Carol Miller because I loved her voice. But the Fox I remember listening to in the 90s, and I thought PLJ went away.
I mean, it's not classic rock anymore. It's now got the talk
Oh,
format,
yeah.
but
I'm
that's now.
just I'm just so curious now that if there was two stations.
I don't know.
It's gonna drive me crazy
Wait,
now.
what did you
There,
want to find out? Like, what's the technical thing?
there are no
Oh,
time frames on what I just looked up on Google.
what year did what was it, Joe? I'm confused. 95 point, what was the Fox?
95.9.
What year did 95.9 the Fox come out in New York? Or would it be what was it,
Well,
Westchester?
it was Connecticut based.
Connecticut,
Yeah,
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
We may never know.
I'm about to random. I'm not finding anything.
Yeah, because I always remember listening to the Fox in the 90s. And then PLJ in the 70s and the 80s. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. So
WFOX first launched as WEFX on the 95.9 frequency in 1989.
That's the Fox.
Yeah, so it was not around in 1985.
I had a feeling because
But PLJ was around.
yeah, I always listened to PLJ. I just had a feeling on that. That's weird, you know. Um, but I think PLJ would have definitely played this, definitely. But like Joe said it perfectly, that it would have been only when the record was coming out or when they were coming to town.
Yeah.
So, but
And that's side one of the Firm debut album.
and honestly, I think it's a great side.
All,
I
all
think it's
hits, all hits, no filler. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. It's a great classic. I would say it's a classic album
Oh
for
yeah.
me.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, two of the greatest legends in music, one of the greatest rock bass players, one of the greatest solid drummers who played in like, with Manfred Mann and Uriah Heep, and you had the biggest success, Chris Slade with AC/DC, you know. So
And don't forget
uh
the David Gilmour connection.
oh, I forgot about that. I always
He
forget
toured with
about that.
David Gilmour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. So but yeah, man. So this was a good episode, and first half of the firm, and I think I don't know, it's kind of long.
Well, you want to see if you can break the record.
I don't know.
I think
And
he
the
was trying to
record just
do that when you were trying to like analyze radioactive.
I think I came close. You got to give you some kind of credit,
No, it's
you
funny how
know.
you overanalyze this.
I don't know.
It's just a guy. I'll be honest. He's just a guy trying to
Just a
nail a
guy.
chick. I mean,
That's the bottom line.
that's the bottom line.
That's what it
And we
comes
figured
down
out
to.
Paul Rogers definitely is feeling
uh,
something.
I think
I,
in the
I
end,
I
in the
see.
end,
I interpret a little bit of Descartes philosophy in there. You know, how do you experience joy without experiencing pain?
right,
I'm just
right.
making stuff up now, Cheech. I'm
No,
just.
now you're good. We got to get Joe on a philosophy show. Now you
Oh
get
no,
you
it's
know.
dangerous. That's
See,
dangerous.
see how it rubs
It's
off.
radioactive.
It's radioactive. See how it rubs off? Now Joe's a philosopher. I love it. Um, but I think Paul Rogers went from brokenhearted to just being
The swagger, radioactive.
that's it. That's how it ends. That's how side one ends.
And then he'll start getting in the sad boy hours, sad man
Oh,
hours.
we'll go back to that because the next one is what you call it? You lost that love and feeling. Side one, side two.
Yeah, I have my feelings about that, but we'll save that for next
Yes,
Yeah.
time.
yes. But
But anyway,
guys, this is
guys,
good.
this was a good episode.
Really
A lot
good.
of a lot of fun. Uh,
There was no
breaking.
Cheech fan.
Oh, I was afraid you. This is a no cheat man. What happened?
I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to, I don't want to. I mean, sorry about the radio station, but that was driving me crazy because I know the
Well,
Fox was the 90s.
I had it wrong.
Because I
Yeah,
remember as a kid loving PLJ, listening to Carol Miller constantly. I loved her voice. She had the greatest DJ voice ever. Um, and then Scott Muni on NEW. And then I was pissed when NEW switched over to the Fox because they started to play not classic rock as much. They started to play music of the times, and I was like, "Oh man, this sucks. I want to hear, you know, I was still a kid. I want to hear Sunshine You Love. I want to hear Foxy Lady, all the shit that you turn off now when you're in
they
the
used to
car
play a
radio."
lot of ZZ Top,
Oh
and
yeah, I
oh
played
god,
Rush. Tom Sawyer was a staple on that station.
yeah.
But my point is, Manny, radio back then would play, you would not hear Big Money on the radio more than three times. It was done. Radioactive more than three times. It was done. It was not a song that was going to be played, I
All
think.
right. Well,
So
that
on
was
that
good.
All
on
right.
that note,
So you pretty much proved Rogers wrong. So he's not radioactive.
no, no, really, he's not radioactive in Westchester Count, and where I live.
What's that?
I'm sure if you went to another state, now that's the thing, and Joe knows this because Joe says when he goes upstate, and I've traveled upstate, man, you've traveled, there's better radio stations upstate. Go up to go
WPH.
right when you're going towards Albany or something, you're gonna hear
Yeah,
some great rock. I mean,
yeah.
you hear Priest, Judas Priest on the radio. You God knows what they play now. I used to love taking road trips and just leaving one station on because you hear all great music.
Right, right.
And Alice Cooper in Arizona, when I spent a lot of time in Arizona, had his own radio show. So he played all great. I was like, wow, metal on the radio, you know. So, but guys, on that note,
Yeah.
we just we broke it down. Maybe we got a little Roy Harper on it. Got into radio stations. Um, Covered a lot in this episode on really a simple song, a simple album. Pretty simple,
Like the
It's not.
lyrics, dude. The lyrics are so simple. I
It's
mean,
just lyrics and
it's
music.
definitely
Even
not like Harper or
a Rush or
Rush or even Plan. Plan had some interesting.
yeah. I mean, it's just great lyrics, amazing soulful melodies, and amazing
Definitely
musicianship.
not. You know how Harper's just dark, depressing. This is like
None of that.
this is not depressing per se, but this is definitely like a dude going through something like divorce, midlife crisis.
But he becomes radioactive.
Then he becomes, but then that's on side one, and then this is like a concept album.
We're turning the Firm album into a concept album.
He's gonna turn to firmness.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
Yeah.
firm.
He's gonna join a law firm and say,
Love.
fuck it. But I don't know, guys. Great
Great.
episode.
Let me
Till
see.
next time.
A closing salvo here of our audience out there. This is just part one. Part two will be joined with this one. But please like this video. Comment below if you listen to the Firm. What do you think of our opinions? What's your favorite song on the Firm album? Shout out to all the fans out there. Subscribe. Listen, grow this channel.
Yep.
And Cheech, thank you for your knowledge and for like over explaining radioactive.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We have full day card on that. It's not I think therefore I am, is I think and I'm radioactive.
That's it.
And then Joe, thank
Um,
you for being on the show. It was really fun. And any last minute remarks from you guys or
Yeah, just that I'm going to think of Radioactive as being the Bug Zapper song.
Joe, really quick, do you remember the set list? Like, any songs in order that they did them in or anything?
Yeah, I went to setlist.com. It gave me everything.
What was the set list for the
Oh
show you
God,
went to?
you'd have to give me a minute. Uh, I don't know. You really want to know? Well, I told you they started with Closer.
That's a great opener.
Okay. Yeah, setlist.fm has everything because they started with Closer. Then they did City Sirens by Jimmy from Death Wish 2. Then he did Make or Break. They did Together. They did Cadillac. Prelude, which is a Chopin cover. That's Jimmy on guitar. He did that at Arms. Money Can't Buy. Satisfaction Guaranteed. Radioactive. Live in Peace, which was a Paul Rogers song that he did on a solo album. And
Mhm.
he re recorded it with Jimmy. Midnight Moonlight, which is actually one of my favorites. They did You've Lost That Loving Feeling. I Just Want to Make Love to You, which is a Willie Dixon cover.
Yeah.
Someone to Love. And then they closed with a Solomon Burke cover. Do you remember Solomon Burke? He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. And they closed the show.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's a great set.
Yeah, it's. I found it interesting that they did a song from the second album before they recorded it, before they released it.
mm,
Yeah.
It's,
Bands do that a lot
I think it was Cadillac.
because it could have been on that album and they just cut it,
Yeah,
you know.
but it was a good show. It was arena rock. Everybody had a good time, and Jimmy had a good night. He really had a good night. He sounded great and he played great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for that knowledge, because that's the important thing about this, because like you actually saw the firm. You went to the show, you know. That's what I love about it, you know.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got the records, which is great. I love it. It looks so much bigger in the back, right, Manny? The
Yeah.
album, like a sticker, like a giant sticker,
Yeah.
which makes it cool.
The album cover is interesting in the band. Like it's in your face.
Yeah, it's simple, but it looks huge. It looks radioactive.
Radioactive.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Nanu Nanu. Another Thursday night podcast. Thank you, Joe. And we'll be back with part two
Part two. Side
soon.
two.
All
Side
right.
two.
Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
Have a night,
Thanks
guys.
again.
Thank you.